Let's start the stream. Hello, hello. As usual, first let's do the audio check. How are we on Twitch? I think we are alright on Twitch. Okay. Yeah, we are alright on Twitch with audio. And how it is on YouTube? On YouTube it's excellent as well. Alright. I'm glad to hear that. Let's jump into this view. Hi! Long time no see. As 2 weeks ago, I guess, I've been in Sweden, in Stockholm, for Unreal Fest 2025. And when I came back, I kinda got sick, so I had to take a little bit time off. And now I'm kinda recovered, so I'm able to stream. Meanwhile, Unreal Engine, Epic released Unreal Engine 5.7 preview. A lot of this stuff has been shown off while I was at Unreal Fest 2025. Maybe firstly, a little roundup about Unreal Fest 2025. I really love that. Stockholm is a beautiful city. Event was great. I learned a ton. I met a lot of people. I love those events for the fact that you get to meet all the other devs that are also using the engine and talk about that stuff. I met a lovely gentleman that created a plugin called Mesh Blend. Awesome plugin. And that guy is also awesome. I'll be trying to convince, people to use it because it's really awesome. Let me share it quickly with y'all. Let me just quickly reduce the amount of entities on my screen. Yeah. Mesh Blend, it's a plugin that basically allows you to blend meshes together, but without any actual geometry transformation. It just does it in the post process. So you are putting two meshes together and kinda, as you see, they are blending together. And when I talk with the lad, he is awesome. And he already tested it on like consoles, etc. It's already been used in the commercial product on Subnautica too. And he tested it on consoles for low, mid, high, and epic quality settings, etc. He really, knows his stuff. I met him there, really awesome. I really recommend this plugin. Let me drop it into the chat real quick. So that was great, and also we got to meet the people behind Clarobscure 33 Expedition 33. If you don't know what it is probably the game of the year for this year. Awesome game, really awesome. If you played Chrono Trigger or the old school Final Fantasies and you love that, you'll be right at home with that. Yeah, we had a chance to meet them because their CTO had a talk at Unreal Fest about how they went from prototype to release product. And it was extremely inspiring. I hope this will get uploaded soon because I for sure will be spamming that, how they were able to get there and basically produce this video game. And from the perspective of CTO, how he was setting things up even though for the longest time he was the only programmer on the team. And a couple of things really inspired me about how a person or a team could approach making a game in Unreal Engine while having limited resources, not only when it comes to budget, but when it comes to the amount of programmers. And it was really awesome to meet people from Sandfall Interactive and talk with them, take a couple of photos and how to call it, fangirl a little bit in front of them because I was like, oh my god, I can't believe it's you, it's my favorite game of this year, like, oh my god. I couldn't really believe them that I was shaking their hands, but yeah, it was awesome meeting them. If by chance anyone from Central Interactive is watching this, big up. This was awesome meeting you. And yeah, so Stockholm Unreal Fest 2025 was awesome. This time compared to the last time, I didn't ask any questions for the Q&A, so you won't hear my voice on the presentations there. And yeah, when some of the topics will be submitted on the Unreal Engine channel, I for sure will be sorry for my cough, I'm still at the end phase of recovery from my sickness. I will for sure want to, share a little bit, and for example, from the perspective of how we could ask after the lecture, we could approach a person and talk to them, or talk with other devs, how they use the given technology, etc, etc, etc. So I hope I will have a chance to talk about this. And today, as the title of the stream suggests, I want to take a peek at Unreal Engine 5.7. One small spoiler, I already did take a small peek into it with my partner. We kinda took a look at procedural vegetation editor, which I want to turn on this stream and take a peek even more, because they were showing it off along with like how they use nanite foliage and skinning for the Witcher 4 tech demo that they were showing us right this year at the previous Unreal Fest. They did the whole presentation in Unreal Fest. At Unreal Fest, the guys both from Epic and CDP had a presentation about that. And also the procedural vegetation editor, which is a tool created inside of a PCG, as they are claiming PCG is a tool for making tools, right? So they showed how they created procedural vegetation editor and how you could, basically it's like a poor man's version of a speed tree, or free version of a speed tree, or whatever, right? You can do a lot with it. For now, they only have like a set amount of trees that you can build with it, right? But they are aiming to expand that, so you would be able to, like in Blender or some other tool, or even SpeedTree, create like a tree, put it in here, and then start building your own trees using that editor. So I want to launch that today. On the PCG front, in Unreal Engine 5.7, PCG framework is finally production ready, which is a commitment from the Epic team. And during the presentations, many presentations at Unreal Fest Stockholm 2025, they said that we need to start thinking about PCG and PCG graph as we already thought about materials, for example, that this will be a backbone of Unreal Engine 5 looking forward, right? They improved a ton. They added support for custom data types, PCG editor mode that I also would want to launch because I saw that live when they were playing with that. But I haven't touched that, so I want to touch that. Yeah, they added even more GPU support. For example, slight spoiler, before they release Witcher 4 Nanite Foliage Trees lecture or talk from Unreal Fest Stockholm, they basically some of the point generation and specific operations regarding like creating points and then sampling them, or like doing operation to get the specific shape, it was done on GPU via HLSL. And they also provided nice couple of pointers how to make those graphs that are supposed to spawn some of the details around the trees or an environment, how to make them faster and work mostly on GPU. But it's mostly for like visual perspective, right? Because PCG can also be used for gameplay perspective, and that's where, GPU, especially if you're running on dedicated server, and not a great solution, right? But for the only graphical elements, yeah, amazing stuff, right? For all you Python lovers out there, they added Python interrupt plugin. That's great. I also want to try today Audio Insights, because last time I tried it, it wasn't really working for me. I didn't really know how to freaking hook it up. I hope I will figure it out today, because that seems like the tool to use when working with the audio and Unreal Engine, right? What else I also want to turn on today? Ah, yes, they also said, is it like in here? Rendering, yes, Substrate. I went to the talk about Substrate at Stockholm, Unreal Fest, and they are taking a commitment as well with the Substrate. It is production ready. They're saying that this is a way to go forward. This is like a new paradigm. We are dealing with slab of materials, and we can think of each like Substrate module as its own shader model, the guy claimed. I'll be honest, I was way in over my head with this talk. Like, I'm not a rendering programmer, I'm not a tech artist or anything like that. I only learned, like, you know, materials, workflow, etc. So when the guy was talking about all the super technical rendering details about how it works, about closures, etc., I was way in the weeds with that, and I didn't understand that much. But what I did understand, and I think I have it in my notebook. Let me quickly take a peek into what the hell I written. Ah, yes. That basically we could kinda somehow sorta create our own shader models in here with Substrate, with the way it works. And that there is a node there called add that we should never use because it causes more problems than it solves. And yes, it makes me question, like, then why did you add this function? But they said, like, yeah, in specific cases it is needed, but don't use that. That's the only thing I kind of understood, that okay, this is a way forward. I would love to take a peek at the Substrate and learn more about it and how to use it, etc., because I literally know nothing about that. And yeah, I hope that that's at some point what we'll be looking at my streams. Not today, because the Substrate is like the whole topic in on its own, right? So there's that. Lots of course, animation related stuff, but I didn't went for those lectures. Yeah. They added more stuff to Chaos. As usual, they added Niagara Nanite Renderer, which is bonkers. That you can have nanite meshes being spawned by Niagara and somehow they are performant, or I don't know how it works with shadows. I expect the shadows to be a huge cost. Chaos Fluids is, I'm not sure if it is production ready, but it's supposed to be working way better. Don't know too much about that, but I would love to look at it at some point. And Chaos Visual Debuggers got improvements. They were showing off. They're like two great talks as well from Ari from Epic Games. He always have amazing presentations. It was also awesome to like, you know, approach him, chat a little bit, take a quick photo, because I loved his all the presentations from him. He always takes like a funny way. He can make most boring and dry topics interesting, and he had two topics. He had a topic about he had one like lecture 101 tips and tricks, but this time for real, because there was like this lecture back in the past, but actually they got only 69 or 70 tips, and this time Ari attempted 101 tips and he delivered. And this is a must-see for any Unreal Engine user out there, because even though I've been working in this engine for 6 years, I still did like I still had a lot of notes about like secret Can you see that? Yeah, about like secret things that are not documented or not documented well enough. And yeah, this would be a must-have to watch through for everyone. Because there are like lots of stuff that is kind of hidden, and so he put it out there. And also him and Matt from, I think he used to be from rendering team. He had lots of presentations about Nanite. Both of them attempted talk about profiling using insights, not only insights. Profiling from the CPU and GPU perspective, and Ari did awesome thing because he actually took a live game that is in development, and kudos to the team that was making that game, that they allowed their blunders to be seen public. But hey, that's what I'm doing here on stream, right? I'm also showing that I'm making errors, etc., and that's normal. So instead of like coming up with weirdest example to show off, hey, this is how potential problems could look like, they actually took a game in active development that will be released next year, and then they showed off how to debug it with the on the CPU side with the insights, etc., etc., and how to be a little investigator, right? So that was awesome. Once those lectures that I really loved will get submitted on the Unreal Engine page, I will for sure be sharing links to it. But yeah, let's jump into Unreal Engine. Oh yeah, and another thing, AI Assistant. They created their own version of ChatGPT, but only like their own LLM, right? But only for Unreal Engine, and they trained it, as I understand, then traded on their own documentation, their own code base, their own projects with blueprints, etc. And there's like an experimental feature of AI Assistant. It can be accessed both via browser if you type in Unreal Engine AI Assistant, which I cannot type for a reason. You'll get here. Epic Developer Assistant. Yeah, I have it all in Polish because I'm from Poland. But you can also access it straight from the engine, and I think... Wait. The AI Assistant will be available by the release of 5.70, not available in 5.7 Preview 1, but it was available because I'm quite sure I turned that on. Last time me and my partner looked at it, and I was prompting away at it. What? I'm pretty sure I used it. So let's AI. Yeah, there it is. AI Assistant. And we have to restart. Okay, so let's turn on other experimental plugins at the same time. And we want... I'm not experimental. Right now PCG is production ready. So let's turn on the PCG because I wanted to look at those vegetations. Biome core, biome sample I won't be looking at. Let's turn on that, because I'm not sure what the dependencies are for the vegetation editor. Yeah, let's turn on this. I don't think we need water, but procedural vegetation editor, yes. Yes, and let's restart the engine right now. It's funny that they are saying that it is not available here yet. I just turned it on. We'll see, maybe they stripped out in some hot patch or something. So where's the editor? Ah, there it is. It restarted. And let's try to find the AI Assistant in Window. Yes, I was thinking that it might have been in like Tools or something, but it's in Window, AI Assistant. And it is connecting. And yep, there we have it. LLM for Unreal Engine. I already tried to use this at the day job, and my success rate is 50-50, I would say, using that. It helped me with one case that basically I used it more as like a Google++, like a better search, because I wanted to see like my task was simple. I wanted to create like a quick check whether I'm approaching UObject limits, which means the amount of UObjects that are being spawned is, you know, we're getting close to it. And I knew that there is like an engine counter for that and an engine limit for that, etc. But I wanted to see like, okay, I could just in my rider press Ctrl Shift F and search in text for that and just find it, or I could Google it. And I went and compared 3 workflows. I Googled it. I didn't really get the answer, I'll be honest, with the Google and the documentation and what have you. I did found then through Rider, just searching through the code, exact thing that I needed. And then I asked AI Assistant for it. Knowing the answer, I was like, I wonder what AI Assistant will produce. And it actually produced not only a location of what I was trying to find, but also a piece of code that was usable. And I was like, oh, okay. So that one was okay. But then I tried to use that for something else, and it was like pointing me to components and functions that don't exist. So I'm like, okay. Then again, I asked something about some metadata, uProperty metadata, and it gave me right answers. Then I asked something about ability system component. It didn't produce a great answer. Give me a sec, I need to quickly empty my nose. Alright, I'm back. Sorry for that. As I said, I'm still recovering. So, yeah. They have their own AI assistant. Let's ask first, like, how could I open new PCG vegetation editor? Let's ask it that. Let's see, because I know how to open it. That's one of the things that I actually got to take a peek at. Let's see what it will produce. What kind of answer? It produced a completely bad answer. As Dexterovsky expected, sometimes it will be stupid as fuck. None of that is true. None of that. Create a PCG graph asset in the content browser, blah blah blah. No. No. No, none of that is true. None of that is true. So like this, like it's bad. It's a bad take. Here's how you access the vegetation content, and we can like drop in create a new open world level, so it will be better seen. Okay, yeah. So here's how you access the vegetation editor. You go into, first of all, you need to, as I did, go into edit, plugins, turn on the vegetation editor as well as all the PCG related stuff. Then go in here. You need to make sure in like your content browser or content drawer, go into gear symbol in the upper right corner of the content browser. Search for engine content and plugin content. Turn both of them on. You don't need to turn, I know, you need to turn engine content because you got engine, plugins, and that's where you're searching for the vegetation editor, which I forgot how it was named. Procedural vegetation editor content. Yes, and here's where you have sample asset. Here's where you also have the PCG, one of the PCGs. You got the map that actually shows what could be built with the vegetation editor. Ah, yes, that's a very important warning. We need to enable nanite foliage in our project. So we need to open project settings, search, sorry, search for nanite foliage, turn that on, and restart the editor. Let me change the volume of the music in coming from the speakers because it's a little bit louder. Yeah, now all the shaders need to recompile because, you know, we turn on the experimental feature of nanite foliage. It can process, it will have different materials, etc, etc. So yeah. Yeah, we are waiting for the compilation. Waiting. Yeah, like nanite, I'll be honest, nanite foliage is like a next step of like nanite everything, really. Toby is here. Hello, Toby. Long time no see. How are you doing? How are you doing? How are you feeling? What is the weather out there? It's surprisingly warm for this time of the year here in Poland. And how are you doing? How's your Sunday going? Okay, it needs to almost reinitialize everything from the get-go. God damn. Toby says pretty similar. We are bordering countries after all. Yeah, that's right. That's right. That is right. But you know, weather can be sometimes funny like that. That, for example, when I still lived with my parents in one district, I had a different weather than someone on the other end of the district, which was like funny. So sometimes it can be funny like that. And how are you doing? What are you working on right now? What kind of challenges are you overcoming? I'm overcoming the challenge of getting well because I'm at the end of my sickness. I caught some nasty virus that kind of knocked me out for a little bit longer than I wanted it to. I mean, I didn't want to be sick at all, but... And where's the editor? Okay, editor loaded in. We got everything prepared. Let's load in our vegetation editor. Let's bring AI assistant somewhere else. Yeah, we'll be testing Epic's LLM today pretty heavily because I wonder, you know, like, will it be usable right now or will it need some years in order to be better? I mean, I assume it will be better than ChatGPT or Gemini or other things because it was trained on the source code by Epic developers and on their own projects. I wonder if it was trained on Fortnite source code. That would be cool. Toby says, just woke up, but yesterday I did significant progress on my Klingon-inspired VM, and my throat still hurts a little from working so much in Klingon. Okay. Yeah, it has to be hard speaking in Klingon language. But nice. Congrats on the progress. I also have a little trouble with my throat, but it's more from like infection point of view. So the aim for today's stream is to go at least for 3 hours, but if my voice will give out a little bit sooner, I will have to end a little bit sooner, because those streams are all about, you know, talking about Unreal and development, etc. I ain't just laying around in the bathtub. uh, although Barabash here tempted me to do a bathtub stream, but I don't feel like world wants to see that shit, and I don't want to show that shit, so. Okay, let's put the AI assistant in here. Let it live there. And here is our procedural vegetation. And the nanite foliage, which is funny because you kinda cannot see the difference. It actually really works quite decently. Toby asks, do you have a Discord server? Yes, of course, I have. Let me quickly drop a link. Thank you for reminding me that I should be doing this kind of things. Here's a link to my Discord server. Yeah, I invite you to drop in, you know, talk about stuff. Lately I couldn't be on it as much as I wanted it to because of sickness and a couple of other you know, life related things. But now when I'm out of my sickness, I hope to get on there, you know, way more. But still, it's not like I'm always online. Oh, Toby, join. Hey, Toby. Hey, and now you're on Discord as well. Great. Hey. Oh my god, that's Klingon. Holy shit. And you had to read that. And record that. Holy shit. Respect, my brother. Respect. So all the folks could see it. I don't know, is it okay for me to show it on the streaming screen? Of what you have to go through? Or is it top secret? Toby says yeah. Okay, so let me show you guys. Quickly. Yeah. This is the thing that Toby had to record. I cannot even imagine the recording process. I mean, I can imagine the recording process, but how hard it had to be. Hats off and kudos to you, my brother. That's nice. Toby says, I made my own assembler. I'll make it self-hosted eventually. Toby says, what do you mean by recording? Huh, I took it that you were recording some voice samples as well, right? Or is it just the virtual machine and there is like no voice component to it added? Okay, I'm mistaken. Yes. Okay, I am mistaken. But still, Klingon inspired. Yeah. Toby says just VM. I may make some games for it later, but no sound yet. Okay. But still, damn. Toby says it's 18-bit with 6-bit bytes. Ah, okay. That's interesting. Why 6-bit bytes? I mean 18-bit with 6-bit bytes and 3 times 6. Okay, I kind of see the logic there. Usually people go for like 8-bit, etc. But so I'm curious, like, why you go with the 6-bit? Not saying that there's wrong with that. I'm just really curious. There is potential gain to be had there, like, right? Okay, so here we have our nanite foliage, right? And from the close-up, it looks, I mean, the wind looks kind of weird if you go with the close-up, but from afar it looks, perfectly fine. Who plays the game like this? No one. Toby answers, why 6-bit bytes? Because we got 8-bit, because we used more than 128 symbols. In Klingon, you used PKD, did I read that correctly? PKD for everything, and that has only 38 symbols. Ah, okay, yes, now I get it, okay. Less symbols, so we don't need 8 bits, yeah, and you can encode everything, yeah, it's an optimization, for sure. And we got our first Twitch bot, that early? Damn, usually they don't show up until at least I am 2.5 hours into the stream. Let me quickly deal with the bot. I wanna ban the bot. Bam! Done. The bot is gone, no more. Damn early for goddamn bots. But yeah, I get you. Yes. Less symbols, so why use regular encoding, right? Yes. That's cool. And you made your own assembler. Nice. I'm really inspired by, you and people that are attempting that exact things. Like, okay, let's make our own assembler, let's make my own virtual machine, let's make my own compiler, etc. Because it still like gives hope for the future tech, right? And it's awesome. It's really awesome. It's awesome, especially as if you know how these are made. For example, I never made my own virtual machine or compiler, but I had those topics at university and how they are made and how you build one, etc. So I'm full of awe to you guys that you are doing that. I am full of awe. Hats off. I wonder if it will come to stream that at some point those triangles, those meshes, are becoming more like, I think that's the moment where they are becoming voxels. There was a way to like zoom in with, let's ask the AI assistant. Let's see how it will, because I know that there was a way to like scope into the details so you could see how LODs are working, right? And if they're working correctly. So let's see that. Let's ask our epic AI assistant, whatever, like in editor without pi, I wanna scope, kinda zoom in to see how my LODs are looking. I know that there was a shortcut for that functionality. Help me. Let's see if typed, in that kind of broken manner, if it will manage to produce anything. Meanwhile, Toby says, it's also structured very differently from our PCs. I tried to follow the same philosophy as the language does. Oh! That's quite interesting. Do you have like a blog or something where you are, I don't know, uploading articles or some breakdowns of that? Because just those two sentences piqued my interest that, oh shit, that's something that I would love to read. It's also, sorry, structured very differently from our PCs. I try to follow the same philosophy as the language does. So like creating your own assembly and virtual machine that follows the actual philosophy of the language of Klingon. That's fucking interesting. I would love to read more about that. It tries to be the opposite of a human language as it's alien, of course. So I tried to make it opposite to how a x86 CPU works. That is fascinating. So do you have like a blog or a link where you share those thoughts? Because this is one of those blogs, or I don't know what formula you have, but this is one of those things that I would follow and basically read for years constantly about how someone make progresses about something. I have a couple of those, not sometimes related to programming or game development or engineering, but I have a couple of those that I follow for years because it's like interesting to just keep up with the updates and read about stuff. And what you just written is one of those things that I would be personally interested into, like, reading about. Toby says, I just annoy my friends with it time to time, but no one is really interested in it. But I'll gladly give you more information. I can give you a breakdown in Discord DMs. Yeah, sure. Hell yeah. I would love to, read more about it. But I think there might be more people like me that are interested in this kind of nerdy stuff. Yeah, because just the idea that, okay, you constructed this thing to work opposite to x86 CPU, and opposite to human language, and opposite how anything we know works, that's already piqued my interest, right? Toby asks, did you work in assembly before? Yes, I did for, oh my god, there was this old processor Z80, or what was the fucking name of it? Z80, right? Z80. Yes, Zilog Z80. We were forced to work on that at university because they wanted to teach us, like, hey, see, how it was at the beginning. Trust us, it will be, it will give you a lot of insight. And at first I was like, really? We have to, like, learn the technology from 1976? But then once we got through it, it was like, oh, actually, it was very informative. So, yeah, actually, it does. If someone is watching right now and wants to get into assembly, I would recommend getting into Z80 because it's quite easy to get into, but gives a lot of insight how basically CPUs can work, right? And I worked on that, and some Intel processor, not new one, but it was like in 2013 or something like this. I forgot the name of that Intel processor. Didn't do too much with it, but yeah, basically jumped to like more of a modern architecture, etc. I-30, yes, I think it was, Toby says, let me read everything. Yeah, Z80 is useful, I like it. It's just opposite x86. I was inspired by some legacy CPUs, and there's still a lot I could have done differently. And then Toby asks, like, the other CPU, 8080 and i386. I think it was i386. Yeah, I think it might have been that. Assembly instruction, let me take a quick pick. Yeah. Let me take a quick pick at manual. Yeah, I think it might have been something like that. Yeah, it's bringing back memories. I think it was that. Let me jump like ahead. Yeah, it brings back memories. Yeah. So I think it was that. And 8080, let me quickly check. No, it wasn't that. No. No. I didn't work with 8080. So it was Z80 and i386. God damn, why is it so hard to pronounce that? Yeah, so it was that. Toby says, I don't know if this is the best project to share, as a lot of it is centered around Klingon, so it might be kind of difficult to understand. Yeah, you're right. Like, as someone that doesn't know Klingon, it might be hard to understand, but for example, for me, okay, I don't know enough about Klingon to understand it or read it, right? But I know that it exists. And for example, if you committed to like a blog post to it, right? I would gain both knowledge about how you did that and, you know, be curious, satisfy my curiosity about, you know, this alien design, right? And I would also learn more about Klingons. So for me, I would be like, okay, let me learn more about those two, right? At the same time. I don't know how many people are there out there that are kind of the same way curious, but you know, for me, it inspires curiosity. Toby says, well, there's only like 50 instructions, so that's memorizable. Oh, yeah, 50 instructions ain't bad. This ain't bad at all. Like, I remember I was talking to someone who works with like assembler on a day-to-day basis and like oh, what was the corporation? Fuck, it was so long time ago, but at one party I met someone who was like working with some super low level systems, right? And yeah, they said that they have to memorize so many instructions, some of them of course like crossing over, right? But yeah, sometimes it can be more. And you send me a DM. Okay, let me read through it. Okay. Yeah. Looks alright. Ain't that bad. So what are you Toby said sent you the ISA. Yeah, thank you. So what are you like trying to achieve with that virtual machine? Like, are you trying to create some like Klingon program? If that makes sense, I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly. That's fascinating to me. I love these kind of projects. This is the real deal, people. Excuse me for a second. I need to. Okay, I'm here. Sorry for that. I'm still getting out of the funk of infection. It's funny because when I was in Sweden and Stockholm at Unreal Fest, I actually, when I was going there, I was feeling under the weather, but the air in Stockholm was so nice compared to where I live. I started to feel way better then. Then I came back home and instantly felt worse. Toby says, I'm trying to get an equivalent of how 80s computer could look like a QoS. Did I pronounce that correctly? If I didn't, I'm sorry. Okay, but that is nice. You're going in a real way about that. I like Kronos. Okay, that's how I'm supposed to pronounce that. Okay. You're going very real way about that, and I love where people are doing this. So kudos to you. And on Discord, Kava joined. Hi, nice to have you here. Okay, so what did AI spit out? To scope, zoom in reality editor viewport without using PI to inspect your loads. Select the mesh actually want to inspect, then press F to focus camera on it. That's not exactly what I want. I want to have like a scope from here. So selecting that and pressing F only brings up, you know, turns on the high detail, and I wanted to see low detail. I wanted to see the voxels. It's supposed to be voxels. Hold Alt, right mouse button, and drag mouse to dolly zoom the camera. I somehow doubt that this is... No. And it's not allowing me... to go closer, so that doesn't work. Use the LOD drop down, that's not what I want. You can switch the viewport to mesh LOD coloration, no. For HLODs, nope, none of that worked. Toby says, do you have Power Toys installed? No, I don't. No, I don't, sorry. Yeah, I haven't worked with any of that stuff since yeah, a long time. Toby says, you can just do a normal zoom with win plus. Yeah, I know. That's not what I wanted to test here. Like, if I was in the production funk and I wanted just to zoom in a regular way, I could just also do a print screen, etc. Like, lots of ways of going about it. But I know that some of the artists are using like internal engine scope to use it. And really what I wanted to test is the Epic Games LLM that is supposed to be AI assistant and produce answers for you, right? And I just wanted to see if it will provide the actual answer, right? I'm kind of validating the new thing in Unreal Engine 5.7 preview, just to see where this new AI assistant is at, right? So that's what I'm really trying to like actually test it out here. Like, what kind of tips will it give me, test it out, etc, etc. Because yeah, for like a real production, I wanted to just see those LODs. Yeah, I would just, probably take a screenshot and just blow it up and see how it looks like, right? So there's that. For example, this is like a vegetation, right? The new complete vegetation editor. And if I ask, how do I turn on new vegetation, procedural vegetation editor in UE 5.7, it will produce a stupid answer. I turned it on during this stream. It was just via plugins, and then I had to turn on nanite foliage in order to make it work. And previously I asked it produced me some shit answer about how I have to create my own graph. That's not how you do it. Now it produced a little bit better answer. Open the editor, go to the... It's not called procedural foliage, but it actually is pointing into the right direction that you should go into plugins. And then it hallucinates. No, it's not foliage procedural. No such thing. Nope, no such thing. Doesn't exist. Nope. 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 That's not true. I will turn it on right now. Let's go into sample assets. You have all these things, right? And for example, you can just go into here. A tree common hazel. Let's find the tree common hazel to see how it looks like. This is Norway European beech, common hazel. This is that. And okay, this is dynamic wind. So this is like our common hazel, right? Where the hell is that? So it is that. Here are like a couple of meshes that they provided, skeletal meshes, and here's the actual editor for the procedural vegetation. where you can actually play around and see how it looks like. And they created this tool with PCG. That's something that I'm interested in and I want to see more of. Like, okay, I use PCG at work for gameplay purposes quite extensively, and in my private time here on streams I used it in like, hey, let's create a biome procedurally. So I used it also in like a visual representation way, but I want to also at some point in the future maybe try this approach that, hey, this is a tool of making tools. To make tools, let me create like a tool for it and expose it to the artist, right? So the details will be kind of black boxy, but artists would be able to like sit down and play around with that thing, right? That would be awesome. Toby says, we used to do all graphics on CPU. CPUs got 100 times faster and we don't do any there anymore. That is true. It's still much better than when I asked about the bug in my Klingon assembly. Yeah, probably. Yeah. Do you also... Wait, it should be like that when you are... I just have a question. When you are compiling for your virtual machine, or does your virtual machine produce errors in Klingon or so? That would be awesome. That's the way to go with that, right? Going all the way, all the warnings and errors in Klingon. That would be awesome. Toby says, yes, it does. Hell yeah. But yeah, asking LLM about bug in Klingon assembly, it will fall apart, I'm quite sure. JG Unreal is here. Hi ho everyone. Hi, how are you doing? How is your Sunday going? Right now I'm going through Unreal 5.7 preview, playing around with the new vegetation editor and also fucking around with the new AI assistant from Epic. Their own LLM trained on their own database, etc, etc. So far I asked questions that were always answered incorrectly. So yeah, take that as you will. JG Unreal says, oh good so far. Glad to hear that. What are you working on in Unreal right now? Are you working on some kind of game or a tool? Or some visualization or something? Okay, so we have our tree, and the way it works is that, at least that's what they shown during the Unreal Fest Stockholm, is you can click on different nodes in the graph and edit the parameters in there, right? And in the viewport, the preview will always be showing which node you have currently selected and the visualization of that. And if you have nothing selected, it will be showing you the last one that you selected. And if you want to see the final result, you should select the Common Hazel 01. And with this tool, you can actually export meshes to the engine, right? And we will do that in a second. Here's like some preset loader. And here are like their variants, and that's something that they created on their own. Right now, as I understand it, you cannot add your own shit to here, but you will be able to in the future. JG Unreal answers my question about how things are going with the Unreal and what is he working on right now. JG says, been bug fixing one of my Python scripts for 6 hours. I am working on AI LLM system that connects to Unreal Engine. More info about it is on my Git. Oh, okay. In what way it's working with the Unreal? I do wonder. Is it kind of like what Epic added here, like this this kind of new window where you can ask questions and it will kind of try to give you answers to how to use Unreal or something else, like I don't know, like interacting with blueprints and editing them or something. I wonder. On your Git, let's get on your Git then. Wonder if I'll be able to find it. I'm on your Twitch right now and I'm trying to find your GitHub, but I don't see any link to it. Let me quickly search again. Damn, I cannot find it. Damn. JG says, it's an AI from our virtual VTuber. It can see, hear, speak, move, and so on. So an actual AI. Nice. That's nice. And JG Unreal says, oh GG, I'll add the Git link. Okay, yeah. Sure, if you'll add the Git link, then I will love to explore that. Yeah, okay. Damn, you guys all are doing some awesome work. AI for virtual VTuber can see, hear, speak, move in the virtual world of, I guess, Unreal scene. Nice. So how far along are you? Like, can it be already hooked up to like a, stream, etc.? Okay, so let's edit this tree or just a little bit. Like for example, there's like common hazel 1. Let's first edit the where it should like export it, or maybe let's change the name to like test. Export. You can export it as static mesh and skeletal mesh. You can change in what way it will be working with nanite foliage. So voxelize. How it can preserve the mesh. What the fuck am I talking about? How it can preserve the shape. It can use voxels and can try to use the legacy foliage technique, preserve area, or it will not preserve anything. Or it can voxelize, right? And yeah, let's export it here. Or maybe we should export it to like content. Fuck it. Let's export it to a content, right? And let's edit the fuck out of it. Like, I'm not sure what carve means here. Length from root. Does it change anything? Oh, okay. It's carving, so it's making it like way smaller, right? No, I want it to be quite big. Let's make it here. Big like that, right? Gravity. How much gravity affects it? Phototropic. I have no fucking idea what that word means. But we can introduce more gravity. Oh, nice. How much gravity? I'm saying graffiti. Gravity affects the tree. I can get, I don't know what is the English name for this tree, but Whipping Willow. Yes, I could create Whipping Willow looking like motherfucking things. Nice. And it's funny because last time I sat down with partner to it and we couldn't get this to work. Huh. JG says, link should be added. Yeah, it is working as I'm running RAG at the moment. I have used the system when I stream on YouTube. Okay. I'm quickly, searching for your stuff on YouTube and subscribing. I want to see how this progresses. JG Unreal. Unless I might be already subscribed to you, if I remember correctly. No, not yet, but I'm subscribing and... Holy shit, you got a lot of stuff here. Nice. And also let me jump into Twitch and also follow you there. Quickly. Okay, I got this. And damn, where did you hooked up that link? Because I kinda cannot find it, I'll be honest. Let me show you what I am looking at. I'm on YouTube, on your YouTube right now, and I see YouTube, I see your Twitch, right? And I'm on Twitch, and I don't see your GitHub. Yeah, but I followed you. I really wanna see where this thing will be going. And is it metahuman? Is it metahuman? The virtual VTuber? Oh, there's GitHub. Okay, I found the GitHub. I found the GitHub. There are more details in here. Vibe voice. Frontier long text to speech. Wait, I think. Did I saw that already somewhere on Reddit or something? Toby says GPT managed to partially transcribe the PKD to Latin, but it took like 5 minutes and completely failed to transcribe numbers. Yep. Sounds about right. JG Unreal says it should be in the about. It's a metahuman. Yeah, wrong git. Go back and then gem system. Okay, so but can I just go like here and go like here? And yes, I'm here. Manual purpose, the master con MCP. Yes. Its primary goal is to understand user requests, features. So you're using MCP. Okay. Continuous web service. A typical workflow for a request is as follows. Damn, I have some reading right now. OBS use Python 3.10. This is required for Flash ATTN2. Okay. I got some reading to do. And also I need to sign in and follow your GitHub. I love following this type of stuff. Oh, already someone did a video on that. Okay, but I don't want to jump into any like other videos. I want to explore on my own. Okay, so I can do Whipping Willow looking like stuff here. JG Unreal says it isn't really using MCP, it just happened to be called the same. Okay, so it's a different MCP. Okay, I made a quick mental shortcut like, oh, MCP, okay. Good to know. That's the problem about shortcuts, right? There are like so many systems with the similar shortcuts that at some point we just should use the full names, even if they are super long, but at least we'll be knowing what's going on. I cannot come with the example right now, but I have some hazy memory of talking with the dude and we were using the exact same acronyms, but actually we were talking about two different fucking things, right? It was MPC, yes, it was MPC. I was talking about how MPC is awesome, and the guy was like, yeah, I love using MPC. I was like, right, it's quick, etc. And I always wanted to use it since I was a kid, but I could never afford it. And now I bought it and I finally played around with it and it's great. And he looked at me and was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Why were you trying to use material parameter collection since you were a kid? And I was like, what material parameter correction? I'm talking about MPC for music, right? And he was like, what? And I showed him like, you know, MPC, that thing. And he was like, oh my fucking god, okay, you should have said Akai MPC. And I'm like, okay, you should have said you know, material parameter collection. So yeah, lots of misunderstandings like that can happen. JG Unreal says it works kind of the same, but it isn't using the MCP protocol. Gotcha. I haven't messed with it, and I wanted to say MPC. MCP, I only, you know, like read about it and saw the video that probably everyone saw, that when the guy was using Blender through MPC and he was building stuff with it, that was like, oh shit. Excuse me for a second. Alright, I'm back, sorry for that. Okay, so I can do a willow whipping, and I can change the direction of gravity. So if I go like... okay, that's quite nice. That's quite nice, actually. And I can go like... Okay, so you can take a basic tree and make completely alien looking fucking thing. Yeah, because I heard like just after the presentation when the guys from... I don't remember if it was just an Epic guy or was there someone from like the Witcher 4 team. I don't remember right now. But the guys were talking about... the devs were right after the presentation at Stockholm at Unreal Fest. The guys were talking about how using this vegetation, probably everyone will be having the exact same trees, right? Everyone will be having the exact same trees, everything will be looking the same, that you cannot do any stylistic things, you cannot do alien looking things. I just did that. I can do like weird fucking crazy thing. Just with the gravity alone, I could probably also go like, oh, not -1, actually let's go up. And this is my tree right now. I'm committing to that kind of fucking tree that looks like a weirdly drawn Super Saiyan hair or whatever, but you know. Can you do it dynamically to simulate high winds? I don't think so. I think this tool right now is only used to like create a mesh and export it, and the dynamic wind example is just like specific material is being added to it. I will actually, I will try to use this dynamic wind material on that fucked up tree that I just created. But no, you cannot, at least for now, build those things in the runtime of the game. It would be awesome though. Yo, it would be so awesome because you could create biomes that you cannot even expect. You could just randomize those values and here you go, you're on an alien fucking planet and whatever happens, right? That would be awesome. That would be awesome. But yeah, high winds in general, from what I understand, are not that easy. What's up? What's up, Magda? It looks like a bush, not like a tree. Oh, you know what I'm talking about. But you're right, it's a bush. Bush, I don't know how to say this word, actually. It's a bush. And in original, it was that. I took that looking hazel bush and did that to it with this carving, and then I changed the gravity, etc, etc. Toby says, it's just code, everything can be done during runtime if you know how. Yes, you are correct. What I mean that you can do right now, you can do it out of the box, I think, right? Which means like I cannot just drop it on the level and start, while the game is playing, start exporting this thing. I would have to add some more code, right? My custom code, which means yes, it can be done with your custom code and doing deep investigation about how it works, etc, etc. So technically it can be done, it's just right now not supported out of the box, if I make sense, any sense. JG Unreal says 6 hours later and finally RAG is working. LOL. Nice. Nice, but heads off to sticking for 6 hours. I know people that can drop entire projects after 6 hours of debugging. Bosch Power Tools. Yeah, how do you pronounce? I need to check that. Bosch Power Tools. Okay, Polish, whatever. And how do you pronounce it actually?
Bush.
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 Bush. Okay, it's Bush. Okay, so it's Bush, not a tree, as Magda here said. Now, okay, so we got gravity. We have some gravity correction. Let's... so it will, like, make it work like that, but that's really it. Actually, yeah, it's looking fine, but I want to have this fucked up version. I want to see the fucked up version. Probably it's not gonna be pretty, but I just want to see the extreme, because I remember how people were talking about not being able to have stylized shit or like some alien shit or fantasy shit. I want to test this theory. Toby says, I worked for 12 hours straight yesterday. Hats off to you. It's not healthy. I mean, it differs from person to person. I know people that can work for 12 hours straight and be alright. I will be fucked up. Actually, I would love to be able to like work long hours, but my body is telling me no. I have diminishing returns after like 7-8 hours. Diminishing returns. For me, the best type of work is it would, if I could work for 4 hours at the beginning of the day, then take, you know, time off to like spend time with family, etc., etc., and then jump in back for 4 hours at the evening. That would be like, as far as productivity goes, that would be the best. And I work the best at night, but that's not too healthy. Okay, scale. What can I do with the scale? Oh shit, I can blow it up even more. Okay. Yes, let's blow it up. Let's turn it into like huge bush. It's really fucked up looking. Right now it doesn't look like anything. Remove branches. I don't want to remove branches. If anything, I would love to make it even more fucked up. But okay, let's light. What does that mean? What the hell? Okay, like, okay, the light, I guess, makes it so like, what if light only came on the top of this bush, and that's where the leaves grew and more branches grew, but there's more light, so no, I don't know. Age probably, as the more age, but that doesn't make sense. The younger the bush is, it has less branches. The older it gets, it actually gets more branches. So okay, and some generation. Oh, I can actually go like that. Huh. That's nice. Okay, but I want to have as much as possible. I want to see how fucked up I can get it. There's also like... Sorry for that. Radius. Okay, it is removing branches. So I can get this like thin looking bush. That kind of looks like my hair. They are as thin as this. Toby says upside down broom. Yeah, I'm making a broom bush. Okay, and then I can cut by length. Okay, let's make it like this. Let's not remove any branch. Now mesh builder. So that's how it looks, right? Okay. Wish I could change the material on it through here. So I would have like, I don't know, purple looking fucking bush or something. But so, oh, is this the moment where I can actually change the material? Yes, this is the... Okay, let's go into it. Mesh builder, point removal. Remove small points to simplify the mesh. And it doesn't do for that mesh. Segment reduction, I can reduce segments, okay. Amount of divisions, like some profile. I have no idea what that is. Plant profile, apply profile to branches. Whoa! I made a chubby one. A chunky one. Yes, I like it. I like it. I make it fatter. Yes, yes. So that's how I can work with it. And what about these other profiles? Ah, they have different curves. Okay, here's like a fall off. Okay. But I want the fattest. Is any profile like the fattest? No. All the fat settings are to the maximum. Okay, okay. This is like some weird ass looking thing that looks ugly, but I love it. Which is what my mother said when I was born. Hello. mm. I can use displacement. Toby says roots. Yes, it actually looks like more like roots. But they are growing up. It's like the upside down tree or bush. And for some reason on this alien planet, roots are growing up because they are actually drinking oxygen, absorbing oxygen, instead of true roots, and leaves are like. You could write this fucked up fiction for that. But I don't care. Do I have any displacement texture? Yeah, let's use whatever. Something that I could actually interpret. Oh yeah, bokeh. Let's use bokeh. And it won't work probably. Yeah, it won't work. Because it's not a real displacement texture. Nah. It won't work. But I got something. Nice. I wonder if I can make it like spread more. Let's see if I understand it correctly. If I will go back to gravity, I should. This is X. No. I don't think I can spread it more. I don't think I have the. What if I. Actually, yeah, I cannot affect it by Z, and it's more like that then. Then it goes like, whoa, into this kind of thing, and then it will look like this. It's not too spreaded, but in the y-axis, but in the x-axis, it's even more fucked up looking, and I love it. I love it. And actually, I can change material settings here. Okay. Okay, okay. We have like 4 materials in here. I wonder if I can do something weird with that. Like, for example, let's duplicate it. Let's call it messed up version. Let's turn that on. And what the hell can I do with it? I want to make it like completely crazy. Basic controls like, okay, blah, blah, blah. Base color, tint base. Yes, I want a tint base color. Let's make it like some. It's only that kind of tint. Oh no, actually I can go a little crazy. I wanna make it be a little purple. Will it produce the purple that I kind of want? It might be a little bit more purple right now. No, not that much purple. Yes, now we are getting into like alien zone. Yes, I want to have it purple. It will be ugly. Great. I want to save it. I'm editing the duplicate. Yes, I'm editing the duplicate. And let's hook it up here. Whoa. That's nice. I want to use it for everything. And each material index has its own material. Now I have some weird, but you know what that means? It means that actually you could do stylized shit in here. Because if I had stylized shader right now, stylized material, it would look fucking stylized. So you can't do stylized shit. And everyone was commenting like you couldn't do it. I did it quickly. It's ugly fucking looking, but yeah. Damn, I should buy like a pack of stylized materials for vegetation. Or I could go, you know, create like a quick material with like just color and that's it. Maybe we should do this, but now I just want to finish that. So let's do that. Bone reduction. And what does that control do? It limits amount of bones that will be animated, right? Okay. I have no idea what this setting is supposed to be like, so let's get it to the default. Reduces skeletal rig complexity. Yeah, let's have it complex. Foliage palette. Okay, so because our purple looking tree is still having green leaves, it cannot do. It cannot do. Let's take... What kind of... Let's have blue leaves. It will be weird as fuck. And I would love if they could be a little bit emissive. But we are using an already... meshes that already have, if I see correctly, applied material to it. Can I change just the material? No, I can just change the foliage meshes. So I will have to open up the mesh and change material in here. Not ideal. I like the fact that I could just change the materials for the branches. Like in here via material settings. Toby said, I just made an ugly ass font that is temporary and definitely won't stay used for the upcoming title. Upcoming time. Yes, there is no bigger line in any software development than temporary. How much of stuff is temporary that is actually used in the production? If I remember correctly, if I'll be able to find it in source code of Unreal, if I have DLSS plugin here, there's a NVIDIA DLSS plugin in for Unreal. I might not have it, but I remember that there was like a code that, hey, this thing is temporary because it's Friday afternoon and I don't feel like changing it. And it's probably there for a couple of years. Let's see, let's search the whole database for temporary. It's like temporary files, blah blah. Temporary. Unreal Trace servers currently only available on Windows. I might not have this DLSS plugin to show you but that was fucking funny as hell. Temporary for developing this feature. I wonder if we went through Perforce, Epic's Perforce, we would see that it exists for like 8 years. That might be true. Huh. Funny, not as much as I was thinking there would be. Maybe temp. Not that much. And I see that I don't have the DLSS plugin, but yeah, there is like funny comments about temp stuff, temporary stuff, and DLSS plugin. Okay, so bone reduction, foliage palette, yeah. Polish distributor. Maybe here I can like override some materials. No, it's just like the way of distribution. Okay, so before I jump in to duplicating all of those foliage meshes and changing the material instances on them, let me change the distribution. How I can affect the distribution. Because I'll be honest, it starts to look a little bit like some beetroot or something. Like at this stage it was looking a little bit alien and fucked up. Once, you know, like the leaves showed up, it's looking actually more normal or something. It looks like it's growing in the it looks like it's growing on Earth, and the place where wind constantly blows in one direction and it's super hard wind, which basically means it grows in Great Britain. No, I'm fucking with you. Yeah, okay, let's see how much we can affect that just by playing with the parameters. Okay, we can make it not appear or just appear at the tip. I actually like when it appeared only a little bit at the tip. Actually, I kinda like this look. Like only at the tip. Here we have like the full bush being here, but let's try to make it being only up top. Just a tad bit up top. Yep, this is our ugliest, weirdest tree. Override distribution, and now I can. Oh, ethylene. What the fuck ethylene is? Ethylene. Wait. Okay. Ethylene, of course, comes from chemistry, and it's a gas. But I thought that. Wait, what? I don't get how. Ah, because ethylene is a plant hormone. Okay, okay. I know not nearly enough about plants biology. Okay, so there is like some ethylene threshold where the growth hormone goes, and we can play around with it. Okay, so if someone was super deep into like vegetation and stuff and knows the chemistry of that, this parameter probably means a lot to them. And we can just do instance override and start playing around with that. But I don't really see how it. If I load taxi, I don't know what it is. Actually, I just like what I had with this one variable. And now I could just export that tree, in theory, and click like... Can I just export one? That's cool that you have like this node that is basically exporting things to the engine. So we are clicking export. Oh yes, I can export one. It will export the asset for me. And exporting asset. And we have it. We don't have to listen to my horrible beatboxing. Content, and it did exported this asset. And now I can just drop it on level and it will be there, right? I can just take it, drop it. You may only place reference assets from engine content, plugin data flow, PCG. Ah, okay, because I'm in the plugin level. Okay, okay. So let's create like a new level, blah blah, open world, whatever. And let's just drop it. Holy shit, this is a big boy. Okay, I could have dropped it closer to the player start. Like right here. Oh, that's a chunky boy. That's a big ass goddamn whatever. But to everyone that said, no, you cannot make any weird looking trees until they allow you to add your own meshes, you are limited, but you can do weird fucking stuff. Like, I don't know what that is, but it is something. Probably an actual artist could do way more with that. Okay, now let's get even more fucked up things. What I wanted to do with it? What I wanted to do with it? That's the good question. Ah, yes, I wanted to change all the materials. So I need to get those. Oh. 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 Branch B, branch A, branch up. There are like so many branches that are being used here, but I guess these are those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? Is it those 7? I guess so. And let me just duplicate them. What I'm doing is very stupid. And I want to have a blah 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 batch rename. And add suffix messed up. Apply. Thank you. Let's open up one of those assets. And we have 2 elements, and once again we have this haze of foliage, like a broadleaf. Let's create a duplicate, and let's see if I can mess it up. It is messed up. Oh, what I can do, we have like a base color that has virtual texture, but I just want to tint it. Base color tint leaves. Let's try that, shall we? Blue, or no, I want this to be weird looking. Let's have it blue. And I would love it for it to be emissive though. But I don't think there's like an emissive here. Yeah, there isn't. Shit, and I'll probably have to edit like master material, which I don't want to do. Translucency, no, I don't want to have any translucency. I don't get that. I can do this? Whoa, yes, let's have that. It will be fucked up looking. I want to have a fucked up looking thing. Okay, let's save that. And yes, that's what I want. And can I just batch edit those materials in here? All the messed up version. Asset actions. Edit selection property. Static mesh, non settings. No. I don't think I can edit the materials in here. And batch edit this. Now I have to go one by one. But okay, fuck it. Let's go one by one. It's worth it. It's worth it. That's exactly what I want. Let's open up the next one. Ah, shit. And let's save it, of course. Okay, it will take a quick second. Let me open up all those at first. Okay, now let's jump back to my fucked up material and let's change materials on all of those. Yeah, great. Okay, now let's get back. Let's save all of those first of all. I want to save. So, let's get back to our editor. Now I have to do those foliage meshes and select the fucked up versions of them. I'm already liking what I'm seeing. Oh, what the fuck am I doing? And that one. And that one. And that one. And now I actually have completely fucked up weird tree that actually has only this amount of leaves at the end. Maybe actually let's increase that, because now that they are blue I actually want more of them. Still up the top, but a little bit more of them. Yeah, like that's fine. That is actually fine. Now let me export. I wonder if it will overwrite it or what will happen. Will the engine crash? JG Unreal. That's a bit scary. Yeah, that's kind of what I was going for. That this is like a weird ass tree. That's what I was going for, because I wanted to see like, okay, everyone is talking that, oh, they only gave you like 4 foliage assets to play with, and everyone will have the exact same assets. And I see like, actually, you can do something with it. There are limits to it for sure, but you can do weird and fucked up things with it. You don't have to limit yourself that much, right? So let's see if, and it already took place, and it looks weird as hell, but that's exactly what I wanted. That's exactly what I wanted. If I could tint this more yellow, more purple even, that would be even more awesome. But actually, yeah, that's kind of what I wanted. But this mesh won't voxelize. So let's get back to Asset Zoo, and let's see how we can voxelize this. We can ask AI assistant, but I'm sure it will produce a wrong answer. Like, I have non-night foliage ready asset. How can I spawn it so it will properly voxelize on far distances? And we'll see what their LLM has to say about that shit. Toby says, I love how memory safe is assembly on bare metal. You request do draw a character that doesn't exist. Doesn't matter, it copies whatever random junk is at that address. It copies whatever random junk address is to that address and is at that address to memory. Yeah. That's yeah. That's true. Like, it won't crash, it won't produce you like some weird warning. It's like, okay, you really want that address? Okay, fine, fuck it. Here you have it. Do whatever the fuck you want with it, right? I love that. Unreal Engineered says here, hi, how are you doing? How is the Sunday treating you? How are you doing and how is the Sunday treating you? And excuse me for a moment, I need to take care of a thing. Okay, sorry for that. I'm still getting out of the virus infection funk. Unreal Engineered say doing well. Nice. Glad to hear that. Glad to hear that. What are you working on in Unreal right now? Some kind of game, some tool? What is the current challenge that you are looking to overcome? Now let's see what the AI assistant said. To spawn non-night foliage asset, enable preservation area on your non-night foliage mesh. Ah, that actually rings kind of true. In the non-night settings panel, enable preserved area. It's supposed to be not preserve the area, but I think it's supposed to be what it was. It was voxelized, and it's actually during the export, so no. Use procedural foliage spawner or static mesh spawner. In your PCG, graph editor, add static mesh spawner. If your foliage uses WPO, limit and optimize it. There are a couple of general good pointers, but that's not exactly. And something, okay. Unreal Engineers, the real-time strategy, right? You have seen. Ah, yes. So how far along are you right now? I remember it looking really good and working with the multiplayer. Sorry for that. So what is the current status of it? What is the current status of? Oh, I see you. Oh, sorry, I didn't saw that you dropped 1 day ago a new update. You dropped a new update. 8-minute update. Okay. I will for sure, watch that. Quite a lot of improvements. Thanks, gameplay now. Choppers. Okay. Guys, be sure to, first of all, let me bring it up. Subscribe to Unreal Engine RTS. I will for sure. I have to add it to to watch list. Where does it save? Watch later. Exactly. Yeah, and I need to watch it. Let me drop a link quickly in the chat for that. Guys, watch that. It's awesome. Unreal Engine 5 multiplayer RTS. It's not easy to build that. I for sure will be watching this extensively because I like watching this type of stuff. Toby says, be right back. For sure. So for sure I'll be, watching through it. Just scroll through it. Thanks for the shout out. Not a problem. So you got tanks now. Nice. And you're adding choppers. Nice. So how many units are you planning to add more to this game? Like you have infantry, you have tanks, you have choppers. Will you add some artillery? Drones perhaps? Like what will be, happening? More. Oh my god, I lost the chat. There's turret in there at the moment. Base defense stuff. Yeah. Okay. Need to work on a jet. Oh yes, I forgot about the jet exists. Yeah. List goes on. Yeah, I bet, a person could go infinitely adding new stuff constantly, right? Okay, so the thing with the procedural generation is that it's supposed to voxelize at some point, but you won't be able to see that much, right? you see it the best when you have dynamic width example, right? Oh, that's a nice little icon. Global foliage actor. I like that icon. Wait, we can have 3D icons as widgets right now? Ah, no, it's just... Okay, never mind. But I like 3D icons. I like that. I wish we could just add this as our gizmos for our custom editors, right? But okay, how those are spawned? Because here you can see where actually, you know, voxels are kicking in and when stuff working, right? When this still working, when this not working, we have voxels, right? Here's their common hazel, right? When working. I think it already stopped. Yeah, so let's take a peek at that. Oh my fucking god. It's wind example PCG. Okay, let's open this up. Ah, it's just Volt Ray hit queries, surface sampler. Okay, then transform points. Nothing. Nothing too complicated. Instance. Oh, that's a new node that I haven't. This is a new node, guys. Instant skinned mesh spawner. I guess it's connected to the foliage nanite foliage that works with skeletal meshes right now. So, Unreal Engine RTS says, each day a tiny bit and then slowly it comes together. I worked for 4 months with cubes, so it's nice change that it's a bit more visual. Yep. But it's the beginning of the game when you have only cubes and you're working out the gameplay. It's still important, right? Because if it's fun with cubes, with visuals, it will be even more fun, right? But yeah, it is a nice change of pace when things start to get a little bit better visual, right? I updated the readme on my Git, so it's much less to read. Oh, let's try it. For some reason, it gave me a weird link for like dealsbe.com, deals for startup and development. Unreal Engine RTS. Ooh, Unreal Engine 5.7. When is the official release for it? I don't think they said for it. When I was on Unreal Fest Stockholm, I tried to get a feel of like when they might release it, but they never really said it. They didn't even explicitly said where then, because this is like Unreal Engine 5.7 preview 1. Usually there's like 2 of those or more than one, right? And they didn't even specify where the next preview version of it is going to be. So I have no inside info from Stockholm for that. Skeletal meshes and bones. Wait, I'm lost a bit in the chat. Yo, skeletal meshes and bones. It's crazy. Each trunk a bone. Yeah, it is crazy. I don't really get how it works. I guess there is something like nanite skeletal mesh, and that takes, and nanite foliage works with that. So like the branches are done through the skeletal mesh animation somehow, and the rest of it is those voxelized assets. I'm not gonna pretend that I understand how it is optimal. It might be the case that they will release it in a beta and it will not be optimal. So the one thing I have to say, Unreal Engine RTS says these guys are wizards. Yes, I agree. One thing I have to say though, I saw a change, is when Unreal Engine 5 was releasing and they were like promoting Lumen, Nanite, all the shadow things. They were giving out the vibe that, hey, right now Unreal Engine 5 is so awesome that you can just drop as many Nanite assets, as many Lumen light sources, everything will be perfect and worked out immediately, right? That was kind of the marketing vibe of it. Then people tried it and it wasn't really like that. It turns out you still have to optimize, especially for shadows, dynamic shadows, etc. So people got a little bit pissed off at Epic Games and they were like, what, you lied to us? And then Epic was like, no, we didn't lie to us. Look, in the documentation or in this video and that video, we are kind of explaining how to use it, etc. But they actually took, you know, this feedback, I think, that hey, maybe we marketed it a little bit wrong. And during Unreal Fest Stockholm 2025, when they were presenting new stuff, they were way more careful about how they worded things, right? They were saying like, okay, it is in the beta, this is how you should use it, this is the problems that we know of, this is the cases where you shouldn't use that, etc. They were like way more upfront about it, right? Especially in the showcases, like they were like, okay, here is how we use it, here is the cases that are great, that we optimized for, you can use it in that. Here are the cases that we are going to optimize. Here are the cases where you should never use that piece of technology, right? They were way more upfront about it compared to talking about that stuff when Unreal Engine 5 just got released, like 5.0, 5.1, 5.2, right? So, so yeah, that was really cool to see that they updated that. Hi Raiders. Huh? I don't get it. Dev guy low level H777. Hi. Paxian Games. Hi. I need to redeem the dark emotes next time. Hi. Hello everyone. We are Unity heads, but hello there Unrealers. Hello. How are you doing? What is your feel right now of Unity? I haven't worked with Unity for a long time. So I wonder what is like your read right now on it. What are the current state of things out there in Unity land? And what are you working on right now, guys? What are the challenges that you are overcoming right now? Me, I'm right now testing, you know, Unreal Engine 5.7, the preview of the new version, and just, you know, just doing a lightning raid. Have to sleep soon. Oh, okay, okay. It gets the job done even with all the negatives being thrown at it in the news. Dev guy low levelish 777 says we're working on a multiplayer game. Gravity Ball for stream. Okay. Let me search for that. Gravity Ball Steam. It's on. Okay. It's on Steam, so I assume it is okay if I show it off, right? Here. Hey, nice of you to, you know, jumping in here. Nice to have you here. Nice to have you here. It's my first raid ever. So I'm happy. I don't know what to do. Not yet on Steam, but maybe soon. Okay. God damn. I need to catch up on chat. Oh, did you find the gravity ball? Yeah, there's this thing in here. I'm not sure if it is yours. I think it might not be yours because it's like from 2017. Or is it yours? That's what I typed in. Gravity Ball Steam. And that's what I found. Is that you guys? I missed some messages, sorry for that. It's the first time I'm having a raid. Don't be sad. Just be engineless with assembly, like proper chats. Yeah, if you wanna ascend to like Super Saiyan God level of, you know, development, going assembly, it's dead, right? Paxian Game says, yet Unity has some more setup versus Unreal, which sucks. if you want pretty lighting and graphics out of the box, but a little work and you can get close to it. Okay, I mean, to be honest, yeah, like in Unreal, for example, you get pretty lights, etc. out of the box, but some of the other gameplay elements are more cumbersome than in Unity, from my experience at least. Like with Unity, you get script, boom, you are going, right? In Unreal, you need to know a little bit more how everything is set up. At least from my experience. Like the learning curve of gameplay scripting for Unity is easier than in Unreal. Dev guy low level 777 says, oh shoot, they took my title. Nah, that ain't this gravity ball. Okay, if it ain't it, I'm not showing it. If it ain't yours, I ain't showing it. I wanna see yours. Vaccine Game says, you should have some gameplay on YouTube when we play it next time to also show off. Then the response soon. Just want to clean it up a bit first. Guys, if you would have some gameplay, I would love to see it. I would love to share it as well. I have like a Discord server for my stream. Let me quickly drop a link for it. I'm bad at auto promotion, but if you guys, want to show off your work, feel free to jump on my Discord, drop a link. Or next Sunday I also will be streaming. I'm trying to aim for streaming every Sunday at around this time, right? And I would love to see your game. I would love to see your game. For real, I would love to see your game. And also I need to follow you. If you are also streaming development, I wanna follow you. Why this is not working? I'm clicking on the thing and I want, yes, I want that. Okay, so I'm observing now. So I'm observing right now. I need to catch your stream as well at some point. Boxing games, you gotta stream more, once a week. Yeah, Dev guy streams quite a bit. Yeah, in my life, I cannot stream more, unfortunately. At least for, current times. Sunday is the only time that I can manage with, like day job and the and family and stuff, right? I wish I could, expand it more and reduce, for example, job a little bit. But I'm not at that point yet, I would say. But yeah, Dev guy, if you're streaming quite a lot, I want to catch your stream, especially like during the day job. It would be awesome to, put you on and have you on the stream as an inspiration. That would be great. Dev guy says, that sounds cool. When I get a bit more cleaned up, I'll have to show it to you. Yeah, for sure. I want to see. Boxing Game says, yeah, no worries. People got stuff to do. Yeah. That's the thing. Like, I have to go to I have to, work at the day job. I gotta pay rent. Economy is not great for me. Boxing Game asks, how much time have you spent in Unreal? I see you do programming. In Unreal, 6 years, since 2019. I've been doing game dev a little bit more before that, for 4 years. Because on a day job I work as a gameplay programmer. And I've been at it since 2015. So it would make it 10 years and a little bit some. Because I started in February 2015. I started at Techland Warsaw. Not in Unreal. And after 4 years I jumped ship to another company, and that's where I started using Unreal, and it's been Unreal ever since. On the C++ side of things. Economy so bad, we all might as well be on UBI, lol. Yeah. Dev guy, okay, I better go and get some sleep. Yeah, have a great night and, get some sleep, and I'll be sure to catch your stream. I need to catch your stream. Like, I want to see, you know, what you're doing, etc. How are you streaming? I am sure it will be a great source of inspiration. But yeah, get some rest. You deserve it. Vaccine games. Oh, nice. Little over 10 years. Same for me, but not with Unity. Not programming, but more artistic building. Ah! Artistic stuff. What kind of art? Which department? Like 3D meshes, 2D, more on the Enviro side of things? Or like, what are you, you know... Sorry. For that, I'm still getting out of like virus infection. What kind of art are you doing? Same for me, but with Unity. Okay, what kind of art stuff are you doing with Unity? But then Paxin Games says, yeah, Gravity Ball he's working on is unique gameplay. Okay, I need to see it. I love unique indies, especially as right now I feel the industry, especially AAA industry, fucking sucks. And indie industry is golden right now. So I'm interested. Every time I hear that, hey, here's a new indie and they are doing something crazy, I'm interested. Because when I hear that AAA is doing something crazy, usually it means they created some fucked up monetization scheme or they fired 600 people, right? And I'm not a big fan of that. So right now, indies are the way to go. Okay, let me get back to 5.7 because I've been rambling and rambling and rambling. I wanted, this is like a new node in PCG. Procedural content generation, and it spawns skinned meshes that has, you can spawn skeletal meshes inside of PCG right now, which I have no idea how it is optimal, but that's how they spawn it with the wind example. But I wonder why it needs to be spawned through the PCG in order to have wind. I don't get that, really. Bank attribute sequence. There's like way more to it. Okay, so when I have this selected, let me quickly parameter overrides trees. Okay, so if I wanna spawn my fucked up tree, I need to use wind example PCG. That's, I don't kind of get how this new wind works. I thought it was material, but I guess it's some actual animation on skeletal meshes. That's kind of crazy that right now, and looking forward into the future for Unreal Engine, foliage will be skeletal meshes. That's like crazy, because back in the days that would be the most crazy fucking idea ever, and tech artists would kill you if you try to do this in the engine, and now it is the way forward. That's crazy. Paxian Games says, but nowadays I'm learning programming and I like to do environment building, making stuff with AAA materials, models, etc. Just making environment looks nice and complete, beautiful and unique. Ah, so you're like, you're getting into programming. Great, hats off to you. The more you learn, the more you will be able to do on your own without, you know, needing to wait for any plugging or something like this. Hats off to you. Always a great decision. And you're doing environmental biting, making stuff, etc. So you're like an overall level artist, I would say, or envir artist, or artist. Yeah, that's great. That's great. I love that. Well, working on vegetation is really fun and terrains. Yeah, yeah. Like when I see artists work with that and what kind of stuff they do, it makes me like shit. I wish I could have time to, like, you know, set the time aside to learn all this stuff, right? Dev with me asks, hello, are you new to Unreal Engine? Depends to the point of comparison. I've been working on the day job with Unreal Engine for 6 years. So it is quite a lot of time, but I would assume that there are people way more experienced with Unreal than me, so... but I work with ability system components, so I guess, you know, that's a hard system to get with. If you have any questions there with me, yeah, sure, fire off. If I can, I will try to answer. And we can also use your question to ask this new LLM AI assistant from Epic. Let's see what kind of answer this will provide, right? Paxton Gaiman says, I'm working on a sci-fi MMO as my current project, just using an MMO framework that has all the systems made for me, so it's just configuring to my liking. Oh, that's perfect. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel and work on the old systems. That's great. You can just focus on the content. That's great. Unreal Engine RTS says, are you? Yeah. Holy hell, MMO's crazy. Yeah, it is crazy to deliver an MMO. It is hard job. Dev with me says, I just started like 2 days ago. Oh, okay. So you're fresh to the topic. Paxton Gamer says, yeah, lack of programming knowledge is keeping me from doing more with GameDev. Yeah, I understand. It's always a good idea to pick up programming. It's always a great idea. Always. Even if you don't use it and make money from it, it's always great because it expands your horizons, right? It's always a great idea. So, respect. Dev with me says, but I can't really find good tutorials. Oh, yeah, tutorial space for Unreal Engine. It's kind of hard. Dev with me asks you, do you have any recommendations for any tutorials? Yes, I would have one. It is a paid one, and it is more geared towards C++ programming. I'm not sure if that would interest you. There is this guy, Epic Games Unreal Engine alumni. Let me quickly get his stuff in here, called Tom Luman. He is great. When it comes to paid content, this is like the best. He also has his own channel when he does a lot of stuff. He used to do a lot of stuff, especially on Unreal Engine 4 front, for free. But other than that, I will drop a link to him. I'll be honest, my view on tutorials, especially on YouTube, for Unreal Engine is not great. Like, I feel lots of the time it's not doing the job it's supposed to do, which is teaching you how to use the engine. Like, several tutorial makers are using mental shortcuts, skipping over certain things that should be explained, especially for fresh people to the engine. They're making assumptions that end up with the fact that then you see a tutorial and you see a comment section when no one can replicate what they did in the freaking tutorial, because it turns out A, they didn't show certain things that they do before recording, so they skipped a couple of, things. B, tutorial is a little bit fakey, right? And it is hard. I'm sorry, I don't really have like great tutorials, apart from maybe like, you could always jump into Unreal Engine YouTube channel from Epic Games, right? They are, especially their live streams connected to specific topics, are great. And for Unreal Engine, there are a couple of example games that you can look through that they dropped, and they also have like live streams where developers of those example games are explaining how they did something, why they did something, how it was built, etc. So I would really recommend that. For example, there is this what was the name of it? Oh my god, with the robot, Stacko Bot. There is this game, Stacko Bot, that you can download through the Epic Games their launcher. I forgot the name of it. And this is like a nice little project that you can download, and then there's like a tutorial, your first game in Unreal Engine 5. There are talks and demos where this is explained, right? Live stream, how they build the third person character from scratch, etc, etc. So I would recommend that also. Let me drop a link for that. And let me catch up with the chat, because I need to read that. Paxian Game says, answers to Unreal Engine RTS. Yeah, the most unrealistic game to make, but if I can buy a framework that has most of the system, then it's just me learning the systems and building that and more. But yeah, not fun. Paxian Game says, yeah, I did a few of the learning web dev stuff. That shit was crazy, a whole other world. Yeah, web development is fucking crazy. I took a peek at this world and I'm like, oh my god, this is so hard. Let me get back to the game dev because it's crazy. Completely crazy. Unreal Engine RTS says, and tutorials are good, I think, when you are a starter. Each topic you learn a tiny bit. Okay, thank you. I just started, so I don't mind C++. Okay, so with C++, I would say that Tom Luman, even though it is paid, it is probably the best tutorial out there. And the guy is active, like you can drop comments, etc. and he will try to respond, so, you know, that's great. Unreal Engine RTS says, just make sure it's a long road. It will take some time to learn. That's true. Unreal Engine has more of a steep curve when it comes to learning, but once you get there, you will unlock a lot of potential. So that's kind of like a payoff. Okay, it's a little bit harder to get into initially, but then the potential there is humongous. Unreal Engine RTS says, I won't recommend starting with C++, to be honest. Iteration times are horrible in C++. Yeah, that is kind of true. That is kind of true. Especially if you're not experienced C++ developer, then yeah, maybe blueprints at the beginning would be better. But that's like the old age like question. Like sometimes the blueprint convention demands explaining something from general programming on C++ programming because they are just using that exact convention. And for example, looking at the code, sometimes it is easier to grasp certain things and then move this understanding towards blueprints than vice versa. Like, it's hard. The education for that part is not easy, right? Dev with me says, thank you so much. Thanks. Thank you all. I followed. Keep the stream up. Yeah, thanks. Paxing Game says, yeah, tutorials can be a hit or miss. A lot of misses. Yeah, I agree. Unreal should make an AI teacher that only focuses on learning Unreal. I feel like that's kind of what they try to do with this AI assistant that is previewed in Unreal Engine 5.7. To unlock it, you need to go into Edit, Plugins, type in Assistant, and you have AI Assistant, unlock it. You have to restart the engine and then go into Window and AI Assistant. And then it shows up and you can ask it questions, but if you're asking about new stuff, it will hallucinate. If you ask it about a little bit stuff, you know, from previous version, it will actually try to point you into direction that is more truer, right? But I think that's where they are going with it. That, hey, this AI assistant is supposed to help you learn Unreal quicker, right? And I think that is awesome. Yeah, I guess there's ChatGPT. Yeah. But ChatGPT also kind of hallucinates sometimes. Can point you into components that don't exist, etc. It is messy with LLMs and Unreal. That's why I think that Epic had a great decision to produce their own LLM for that. But we'll see how it will go, right? Unreal Engine RTS recommends starting with empty project. Yeah, that's also a way to start. Otherwise, you get overwhelmed very early. Yeah, that's a great way to start. That with me, so I can see what you are working on. Right now, I'm just, trying to use their new nanite foliage system that is supposed to create like super optimized but still high poly foliage. And I created my own fucked up tree using their vegetation editor, which vegetation editor looks like this. And you can kind of create from the base that they are providing, you can kind of create your own plant. And I created some weird alien looking thing like that, and I want to spawn it so wind will work. And I'm doing a general preview of a new version But on the other streams, I'm making my own game that is supposed to make me a better game designer, because I just work as a C++ game programmer, which doesn't mean that I'm a good game designer. And I will probably get back to it on the next stream on Sunday, so feel free to join in next Sunday. Paxin Games says, they added an AI bot, nice. Yes, it's like a beta version or something, but they added. I wonder if it's context aware of the current game level and the components in that of the project setting and all the jazz. However, they pull it off. Unity is also doing that. For now, I think it is not aware of the context of generally what you're working with. I don't think it is aware of that at all. It would be dope though to have that. Like, hey, I have the problem in level. This thing keeps constantly disappearing. Could you look at the scene and maybe point me into the direction where I should look? And the AI assistant is like, yeah, you have weird settings here and there, like they are uncommon. And you're like, oh, okay, let me take a peek at that. That would be awesome. It would save so much time debugging and doing lots of stuff. Paxian Games says it can create scripts and read current game scene contents in Unity. Oh, that's nice. Paxian Games says they finally got Nanite for foliage. Yes, in the experimental beta way, yes. And they showed it off in Witcher 4 tech demo. And I attended Unreal Fest in Stockholm like 2 weeks ago. And they talked about it even in more greater detail. It looks like a way forward, although I don't understand how those skeletal meshes are optimal, but they are optimal. That tree looks good. Looks good, that tree. Excuse me for a second, I need to clean up my nose. Yeah, I'm still getting over my infection a little bit. But yeah, what I want to do is spawn those trees in here right now. You're saying that this tree looks good? It looks weird as fuck, right? But that's what I was going for. At the Unreal Fest, after the presentation of this vegetation editor, many people took the... their feedback was like, it looks cool, but because they only provided like 4 foliage bases, it will mean that probably all the trees will be looking the same everywhere, every game will be looking the same, etc. It sucks, and you cannot do stylized stuff, right? So I quickly jumped in and created this weird fucked up thing that I'm sure was never done in any video game, or maybe some video games, but it's not common. So no, that is untrue that you couldn't create some weird shit. Yes, you're limited, but you can create weird shit. And Epic said that in the future they want to make it so you can add your own foliage bases to create like your own monstrosities, right? So the future is looking alright with that one. Dev with me says, my dream game is like an open world game. Nice. Unreal Engine is suited for that. Great choice. Great choice. Dev with me then answers to Unreal Engine RTS. And I want to vlog me doing it and post it like this stream. That's great. Yeah, do it. Do it. And if you want to share this, let me drop quickly a link to my Discord. I would love to follow that. Invite the server, link. Bada bing, bada bong. What the hell is my... Yes. If you want to, like post your blog, vlog, and stream, etc., drop a link. I would love to follow it. I'm sure as well other people would love to follow that. I love, watching those streams, devlogs, etc., especially as people are learning new stuff and they are coming up with new stuff. Having a fresh perspective, that's always inspiring and awesome. I agree with you, Unreal Engine RTS. Recording progress on YouTube. Yes, that's what you should do, Dev, with me. Not a problem, Dev, with me. Not a problem. Like, drop a link, I will for sure, you know, subscribe. Other people would also, you know, love to follow that. That's what I was doing lately with YouTube, I'll be honest. I was pruning all the YouTube channels that are just producing some content that was basically brain rot or like really unfunny stuff, and pruned it only to things that I actually get inspired from, like people making video game, people making some cool stuff this way, that way. Most of that are like vlogs, documents, etc. But I feel so much happier with that decision, so I would love to add your channel to that list and, you know, be like, oh, okay, new video drop, let me watch that, right? Like, for example, Unreal Engine RTS, one day ago dropped a new showcase for how he updated his multiplayer RTS done with Unreal Engine, and I know what I'm watching today, right? So, you know, that's always awesome. Pexin Games says, yeah, Twitch used to let you save VODs to YouTube, but not anymore. Yeah, that sucks. That's why I also stream like simultaneously using Restream both to Twitch and YouTube, because I already have VODs there. On Twitch, you know, it is what it is, but you know, keeping it double like that makes it work, right? There is like a plugin for OBS that lets you stream simultaneously to two sources, but I couldn't work it out, I'll be honest. It just wasn't working for me. So I'm just using free version of Restream. Let's try to spawn what I need to spawn, which is, let's change those trees. I have actually one fucked up tree of mine. And I just need to point to skeletal mesh, right? Okay. Let's point to skeletal mesh. This is my skeletal mesh. I will need to save that. Let's delete that. Let's add new one. What the hell? And then where was? Here it is. Holy shit, moly! I did something wrong. It spawned it like this. What the hell is this? And there is no wind. No, there is like slight wind. If I'm, or it is just anti-aliasing. There is no wind. I have no idea how to make wind work. In this new setup. Paxin Games asks me, are you looking to make a game of some kind? Yeah. Most of my streams are about making my own game. As I said, I devised a game that is mostly supposed to teach me more about game design and teach me how much I don't know, right? So I devised a weird, kinda arcadey, kinda puzzle game where you change the state of the world only by shooting your arrow from a bow. And it's been hard designing that game, but I'm having fun, right? And the idea is to at least create like the working prototype with one level and bigger level and some gameplay mechanics. And invite my friends over here. Two of my friends agreed to, you know, dropping in and get like a raw feedback, whether it is fun to play or not fun to play. And, you know, I want to go through that whole process and, yeah, that's kind of aim. Like, I want to make this kind of game, create the prototype with ugly as fuck graphics, placeholder graphics, but it's supposed to be fun to play. and we'll take it from there. Like, we'll see what happens, right? So that's kind of my aim for that. Yeah, and at the day job I am also working on the game, but my contract I think not allows me to talk about the game that I'm working on, which is weird, but that's what it is, right? But yeah, here on stream I'm working on a game. On next Sunday I will be most likely getting back to it. So, you know, drop in on next Sunday. I would love to show it off. I have a couple of mechanics involving elements and like bursting bubbles with carrying flames that are dropping on some wood and then it burns and connects to some other vine that is burning, like all sorts of like weird interactions, which I think I picked the worst kind of complicated scenarios for first go as a game designer, but fuck it, let's learn, right? Unreal Engine RTS says, yeah, he's working on a game and I think he's just checking 5.7 features now. Yeah. Exactly. I wonder how much a performance hit this foliage. Yeah, it's voxel trees so far, and the close they become skeletons with gajillion bones. It's crazy. I have no idea how it can be optimal. In like the actual production status ready thing. I have no idea. Yeah, so you're asking what kind of game I'm making packs in games. I hope I explained it a little bit. It's not exactly platformer, it's more like a logical game, but there is... Why am I talking? I can just show you. I can just show you the game. Let me load in the project in the background while I will try to figure out the situation of the wind here and talk with you guys. Dev with me says, so I have a question. Do you think I can stream while following on a tutorial, or is it that bad? Perfectly fine. Yeah, I would say it's perfectly fine unless you bought a tutorial and the guy explicitly said that he doesn't want this to be streamed, right? If that's, I think Tom Lumen, the guy that I sent you, has that hey, you shouldn't stream this because that's, you know, that's how I make my bread, right? And it's like, oh, okay, I paid for this and I'm gonna respect that, etc. But when it comes to like YouTube tutorial guys, especially from Epic, yeah, sure. And I agree, you might inspire other game devs. Let me drop the link to the Unreal Engine RTS, so it will be easier for you to follow him as well. Did my project load it? Yes, my project loaded. I can quickly show off the game on... How about flame propagation range? Yes, let's do that. Specs in games says, steal everything, regret nothing. Yes. Okay, so I have this kind of weird ass game. Let's play from here. I hope it's not in a broken state. Believe me, it's a bow. It's a placeholder bow. So, you can shoot arrows. And open doors, for example, by shooting a red. Why am I getting such a performance hit? Probably because I have two instances of Unreal running at the same time. And I can burn this stuff down so I can collect my star. That's kinda the aim of the game, that you will be collecting stars, at least for now. And you need to get to the stars. And you have lots of interactions kinda like that. You have the flaming bubble, you can burst it. The flaming altar for Half-Life 3 will burn down. Right? You have bubbles that can carry water and put down flames, so you can make your own like way through the sea of flames, for example, right? And I wonder if that will work. Let me jump into the Unreal Engine RTS. That, oh, did you fix your for loop issue, by the way? I don't remember what issue it was, so I can't tell you. It's been quite some time since I got there. And my game is also have this weird movement mode. Kinda if you were hitting the golf ball or launching yourself with the bow. That's kind of the visualization that I'm aiming for. And you can transport like this, but right now you can overshoot it. It looks so fucking funny. I'm always laughing when this happens. Yeah, let me play from here once again. The game was running at 3 FPS when it sets stuff on fire. Yeah, I probably didn't fix that. I need to fix that. But also there is possibility that there was something else that was fucking up. I don't remember. I also have like a little bit of wind simulation. So, for example, we have the spawner of bubbles here, and the bubbles will only fly in the direction if the wind is actually aligned. This is like a propeller. I can just shoot it, and the goal is to actually, you know, produce wind. I don't have visualization for that yet, so the bubbles will be traveling, so I can align my shot and get to the star, which has fucked up. Oh, actually, it's the first time that the fraction physics kind of worked. Yeah, and you can travel that way. It was a mechanic that I did kinda as a joke. Like, hey, what if you were launching yourself from a bow, right? I did it, I laughed, kind of forgot about it, but it's always was in the back of my brain like, hey, what if I actually used it in the game? What if it was the mode of transportation for the game? It is weird as fuck, but maybe that's something to be used for, right? So that's the idea. And yeah, I basically created a toy box of mechanics, and I stopped at trying to put toys out of this toy box and build like a sequence of events, try to build like a cool gameplay sequence. And I realized I have to flesh out those mechanics even more and get back to the drawing board with the design on them. So that's probably what will be happening in the next stream. Yeah, so that's the game that I'm trying to work on. Very weird. But as I said, the main goal is to learn a little bit more about design. Let's get back with the chat. Dev with me. I'm working on this tutorial. Okay, let me check the tutorial. How to make your first game in Unreal for beginner course. Gorka game. Oh, I don't know this guy. But yeah, if he uploaded it on YouTube, then you can stream it for sure. I see that some assets are not free that he is using. Yeah, that's the problem sometimes with tutorials, that they are using some assets that might get deprecated, etc. Yeah. Yeah, but I hope that, you know, this guy is doing a good job. Faction Game says, the goofier the better the mechanics will be appreciated. Underrated advice. I agree. That's why I'm keeping all the goofy shit inside of the game. The game aim is to be goofy and funny. A little bit sandboxy, so that's the aim of the game, and probably that's how the final visualization should look like. Vaccine Game says, no, really. A biggest bow the size of the character and it launches you. That's kind of exactly how I would envision the animation for that. That you'll be playing like some kind of weird character, right? And when you would be using that ability, Actually, I would pull back the camera to third person, and probably the actual game would be third person, and you will see how this character is getting into the ball and stretches out and launches himself and grabbing the ball as he launches himself with his tail, like something goofy as fuck like that, and going through the air, you know, in a weird fashion, completely weird and silly. That's how I would do it if I was an animation artist. That's what I'm going for. Yeah, and Unreal Engine RTS gamesicons.com is awesome. Yes, it is awesome. I remember you recommending it last time. It is awesome. Faction Game says, yeah, that's funny as heck to see. Yeah, yeah. Sketchfab. You deserve affiliate, not going to lie. You're talking to Unreal Engine RTS or to me right now with the affiliate, and I don't know what affiliate is, so you would have to clue me in a little bit. And why the wind doesn't work in here? That's a great question. Did I mess up somehow? Something? I mean, I know I did mess up something. Wind example PCG. Should I? No, I should only do this. I mean, first of all, it is spawned horribly. No, it only makes the spacing on it is funny. And can I like? No, I don't have parameters for that. I would love to have parameters for that, for the scale of things, but I don't have it. Okay. And sequence. What is the sequence? I don't get it. Sequence index attribute sequence. Okay, so probably you need to have like some wind asset for that. Dev with me says both of you. Oh! Thank you. Now I know what you mean by affiliate. Sorry. I was concentrated on something else. Yeah, now I understand. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, so I don't know how those winds are looking, but the tree on its own was funny. And it's all skeletal meshes. I have no idea how it's supposed to be optimal, but if we turn on the nanite visualization, let's turn on the overview. It shows the triangles. Maybe let's show triangles. Look at that. All of this shit is different triangles. And somehow we are hitting good performance, right? What the hell? But I feel like the voxels don't work here. Like I'm having constantly... No, there is something going on. Okay. And I saw like... It looks like there are little cubes in here, right? I'm not sure if it goes through the stream, but when I'm... Huh. I have no idea how does that work. They are wizards. Patches. Let's go back to overview. Okay, the wind is working on that, I guess, because evaluate WPO. But it's not working, huh? Overdraw is humongous, which means it's probably a problem. Okay. Let's turn off that view. I have to click lit. I always forget. That with me, yeah, explains like affiliate. Affiliate is where you get like average of 3 views, 25 followers, and then people can gift you, donate, and you get okay. So I misunderstood the affiliate. Affiliate is where you get like average of free views, 25 followers, and then people can gift you, donate, and you get ads, which gives you money. Huh? I thought that you need to have way more followers to get that. Okay. I receive $0, zero nothing for those streams. I'm just doing it for fun. Unreal Engine RTS says this is like a render magic. Yes, this is. I don't get it. Pax and Game says, don't you need to like add the wind in the form of zone component or something? You're right. There was something like this there on the example level. You're right. There might be something like that. What the hell? Recent levels. Asset zoo. Don't save. Although, wait. No. Yeah, this is just like an icon. How do you work? Okay, we have like this set up here. Transform. There's something like animation transform provider. There's like this instant skin mesh component, wind transform provider, animation minimal screen size. Okay, so it works even a little bit differently. I have to click on those components, instant skin mesh component, and select transform provider. Okay, and then mesh deformer. Oh shit, you can mesh deform shit here. Okay. So this is like a different, completely. This is like a completely new workflow that doesn't work like anything else previously in Unreal, where you just had mesh and you apply material on it, and that material had world position offset processing, right, to simulate the wind, etc., etc. So right now this is like a completely new thing. We have like some transform provider. What is that actually? What is that? Dynamic wind data, and it's just enabled. Just that. It's just enabled. That's it. So I guess it is still behind the black box. Okay, let's get back to like a new level. Let's drop our wind PCG in. Although I need to navigate to it once again. Wrong PCG. Let's like drop it here. Let's spawn my trees, which were in the content actually. I just dropped it straight here, and let's do. And once again, I haven't selected the mesh. Okay, but it didn't create this component for me. Why I don't have this component? Faction Game says, to me, if you lose your job, you could try streaming while waiting for new work. Is what? I hope I don't lose my job. I got bills to pay and I got some savings, but you know, I don't come from money, so I don't hope I don't lose my job. But yeah, if I will suddenly lose my job, I have no money, then yeah, you will be seeing me streaming almost every day and begging for money. Is what David is trying to say when he means you deserve affiliate. Well, we do, just kidding. But once you get affiliate, it's really easy. Oh, okay. I know nothing about that. If affiliate pops up on my Twitch, I'll be like, oh, okay, let's try that. And if it will mean that I could pay off my, you know, all the bills, rent and shit with that money, then maybe I could quit day job and just work on my own game and just stream it. That would be awesome. I have no idea how Twitch economy works. Apart from that, if I was streaming from a bathtub, I could get more money. I mean, not me with my body, but you know what I'm saying. That's the only thing I know from memes, etc. Dev with me says, once I get this Discord working, I'll show you. Okay, okay. I'll, gladly, take a peek at that. Dev with me says, yes, you can earn money from your game and stream. That's the dream. Baxing Game says, nah, he means you're an entertaining streamer, much better than average, so you have a good chance of being a decently no one. Holy shit. Thank you. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to say it. Like, I'm blushing. Thank you. Paxton Game says, but yeah, real job gonna pay more. Yeah, I guess so. I guess so. Problem is you don't stream enough for that. Yeah, that's for sure. I wouldn't be able, even with knowing nothing about Twitch economy, I know I wouldn't be able. If I would only stream on Sundays, I would not make any money. So yeah, that's like a conundrum. Like, hey, it would be awesome to do this, but right now, things in life, are what they are, and I cannot stream more often, and I cannot, and it's like a recurring loop, right? So it's just kind of sad that Unreal Engine is not that popular in Twitch. Yeah, but it always might become, right? I feel like, for example, if the guys that made Claire Obscure Expedition 33 decided to stream the development on the next game, I think suddenly Unreal Engine streams will become super popular. So I guess just couple of devs in Unreal on Twitch is what it would take for them to start popping up more and becoming more popular, I guess, right? Paxing Game says, yeah, just have fun with it for now. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. Not get stressed, just have fun, explore new features in the engine while making game, etc. So yeah, okay, so let's try one more thing, because I don't want to constantly jump between the test level and this level. Let's see if I just jump wind example PCG in here. They also don't have wind, and they don't have those components. Do I have to like do something to add those components there? Like, because I am sure that those components that we saw with the weird asset called wind transform is exactly what produces the wind. But it's just this wind example PCG4 that has been spawned in here. It has this PCG. It doesn't have like extra anything here that I haven't seen. So I'm kind of flabbergasted, like why I don't see those. Okay, so what if I duplicate this whole asset like in here? That's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to duplicate this whole asset in here, and of course it has this. Okay, but if I drop the wind PCG example like right here, it also doesn't have this thing. So what am I missing? There is something stupid that I'm missing. Stupid. Vexing Game says, I don't know, I see a decent amount of Unreal streams versus Unity. I started as well. Next time when I finish my game, I'll raid you. I'm in stream. Yeah, sure. Toby, be right back. No, sure. Where the fuck is the wind? Yeah, that's what I'm trying to guess. You also see my point of frustration, right? Like, that's why, like, one of the goals for my streams is, I haven't spoken about it during this stream yet. My main goal and motivation with these streams is that, I work on a day job as a developer with the Unreal Engine, etc. And I see a lot of tutorials that are kind of showing off how to use the engine, But as I said, they are skipping certain parts, or sometimes there are streams or like live streams, VODs, etc., that are showing how someone is learning new stuff, but everything is perfect, which tells me that they are kind of faking it just to have, you know, I don't know, clout or whatever. Everything works perfectly for them. Me on my day job, and everyone I know that actually works in the game development industry struggles all the time with bullshit. So my idea was, and that's why I use the real game dev tag here, is that I'm doing it in the real way, which means I do not prepare beforehand when, for example, taking a new plugin. I'm facing the exact same problem as anyone would have if they decided to try a new plugin, right? I'm starting fresh. I'm turning on the new plugin and trying to see how can I work with it, looking at Epic's documentation, materials online, etc. How can I make it work? And I'm falling into the same exact pitfalls as you would do. So, you know, I want it to be real. So if you're watching and you're like, oh, I also wanted to use this plugin. Let's see how this guy did it. Oh, he came, you know, he fell into this pitfall, right? And into this pitfall. I won't fall into this pitfall because he got into it, right? And also I kind of want to show off the ways in which you can get out of those pitfalls, etc., 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 right? So that's kind of like my mission statement, that I want to do it the exact same way as you would do it. And it's okay to struggle. Everyone in this industry is struggling, and I don't like fake like, oh, it took me like 5 minutes to learn this new plugin. No, it didn't. No, it didn't. Unreal needs more of the Fortnite font in its UI, UX. Truth, no lies spoken there. Vexing games, yeah, I get that. It's a skill to learn brand new system, a skill in itself. Yeah, dealing with the real struggles that aren't recorded. Yep, and I love to like show those struggles. I got some feedback from my friends that sometimes it is boring when I struggle with this one thing, you know, to like overcome it. But also I got feedback from another developers that are putting my stream in the background while they are working, that they see me struggling, inspires them to overcome their struggles, and that's what it's all about, like constant loop of inspiration, right? You guys inspire me, I inspire you. That's what it's all about, right? For me. And yes, it might not be flashy, it might be a little bit boring to show the struggles, but that's how all of yours and mine favorite games are made, right? And I really dislike those YouTubers and streamers that are showing how everything is perfect, smooth, free, etc., because I just know that they are faking it, right? And they are preparing for months to do this 1 hour stream, and it's less of a live stream how they're developing something, it's more of a performance. And if it was called like that, I wouldn't have no problem, but because they're trying to sell it off as, you know, like as a real thing, I have a problem with that. So I don't mind making an ass out of myself on the stream, doing like some weird math error and trying to find the root cause of it. That's how it works in the industry actually, right? Paxin Game says, is there any documentation on the wind with the new vegetation foliage? No, not yet. No documentation yet. Or wait a second, because before Unreal Fest Stockholm 2 weeks ago there wasn't, but maybe there is now. Let's try to find it, because look at this. Okay, that's the window that I wanted. There's the Unreal Engine public roadmap, right? Now at foliage and skinning. And there is like the procedural vegetation editor, Jean-Sebastian Guay. I love this guy. He worked on PCG. I love all the PCG team. They are quite communicative on Unreal Source Discord. Yeah, this is like a new experimental plugin, and there was no documentation for that. Let's see if there is Unreal Engine. Yeah, YouTubers making it more like a performance than reality, which gets edited out of degree. I don't know. There are some YouTubers that do toots right. Yes, and I respect the fuck out of them. For those that are doing it the real way, hats off to you. And I tell you the reality, but that's harder to find. Yes, because it's not as flashy. Like, it's way easier to produce a short, 10-second short when everything falls perfectly, etc. And it will get passed around for millions of years. But we recently, during this year, we saw one person that proved to be a little bit of a poser. And yeah, you can quickly get views and it's hard to find the real deal. I can also recommend on the tech art. I just remembered out of the blue. Let me just quickly try to find the thing. Yes, that's what I'm. For example, one of the real guys, Oscar Świerat, I met him at some event. He has this whole page. Let's drop a link to it. Tech Art 8. If you want to learn more about, you know, Unreal Engine and tech art, etc., he is actually doing a great job of showing off. Like, yes, he does prepare for the stream and everything beforehand, but he explicitly says so. Like, yes, I prepared this, but I will talk about, you know, all the pitfalls that I came with and why I did certain things, right? So he does it in a real way, in my view, right? He prepares, but he says how he prepared, and he explicitly tells you all the little details. He doesn't omit anything, right? So, you know, he is a great guy. Really awesome, knowledgeable, etc. One of the real ones. Just, you know, popped up in my head. Dev with me says, crap, I lost the tutorial and Discord. Oh no! Which tutorial in Discord? Like, let me quickly drop a link for Discord and tell me which tutorial. I will quickly, you know, drop a link to it. Here is the Discord. And Pexing Gamer says, yeah, YouTubers nowadays, a bunch of money mongrels. Back in the day, toots were more focused on just telling you what's up. Yeah, I agree. Pexing Gamer says, damn, that's a lot. Toby, I'm back. Hi! Nice to have you back here. The Tom person. Tom Luman, of course. Tom Luman. Let me quickly drop it. Here you go. Here you go. And let's try to see if there's like a tutorial when someone explains it. Procedural foliage tool, that's something a little bit different. And a couple of other videos trying to look at it. We might scrub through this tutorial to see if he gets to the wind, because that thing I already went through. Procedural foliage tool and quick start tutorial. Yeah, that is like something else. That is no, this is a different tool. This is the old foliage tool. Doesn't have anything to do with the PCG. Let's see on the YouTube. So yeah, those are the situations that I'm talking about. Like, there's no tutorial, no documentation, and I want to use it, right? And I'm bashing my head until I figure this out, or I will be like, fuck, I'll wait a little bit and I will come back to it once we'll get answer, right? No problem there with me. Why is the wind still not working? Yeah, this is a great question. Like, this is like a new workflow with nanite foliage being based on skeletal meshes, which means that the wind is some kind of animation asset or some kind of bone transforms, right? So I have no idea how to make it so my spawn, which for the intents and purposes is just... Wait, what the what? I spawned it in here, alt tab to find other things, and then those instant skin mesh components showed up, even though after I just spawned them, they didn't. Look at that, they didn't. And at some point, they just did. What the fuck is up? How does that work? Okay, let's grab quickly through the tutorial. Pexing Game says, yeah, that's a bit rife. No way there's no guide and it's just not working. Or is it built into the actual shader? The reality of Unreal Engine is that sometimes there are no guides, or the best guide is the community guide. That's something that Unity and Godot, I think, have both a leg up on the Unreal Engine. Like, the documentation for Unity and the resources for Unity are way better than Unreal Engine. Because Unreal Engine is so vast that Epic Games struggles with updating the tutorials or even creating tutorials for those things. And I don't blame them because they have finite number of employees, right? And they had a crew that was supposed to work on that, but unfortunately they fired them. And now they're trying to find a new approach of documentation, etc. But yeah, that's what they struggle with. So oftentimes your only guide is the source code in C++. That's the reality of Unreal Engine sometimes. Dev with me says it says invitation failed with the name of Discord. I'll search it up. It failed? Okay, let me generate another. Maybe I fucked up the invitation. Tell me if that link works. I was clicking fast with the link before, so maybe I messed up something. Okay, let's see if he managed to make the wind work. No, he's showing nanite. He's showing the voxels. Air nanite. Oh yeah, okay. You can turn the voxels, and you can inspect how the voxels work. Okay, great. That's not what I'm trying to work with here. I'm trying to see the wind. No, it's just showing how to build the actual tree, and it's not really talking about any wind. Wait, there's like some skeletal mesh editor thing. Do you have to go into skeletal mesh editor to do something? It doesn't look like that. No, he just plain doesn't deal with the wind. Okay, so wind. That's an old stuff, so no. Okay, we are on our own here. You're here! Hello! Nice to have you here! Haha! Nice to have you here, finally! The link worked. Finally the link worked. I'm glad to have you here. If you will, as we were talking about, start streaming or doing some other kind of form of vlog, please drop a link. I would love to follow you. And let's see. And once again, after some time, those components were added in. So there is a weird thing. And there's no transform provider, but I can... Okay. Those meshes don't have the transform provider. Those do have. So let me quickly take this. Grab the wind transform provider. Yes. I saw some globage foliage actor there. I think I start to understand how it works. And some of them started... Wait a minute. Global foliage actor UE5. What? Holy shit! We are getting seasons for free? Did you guys see that? And there's like some health. What is going on? Wow. Wow. What the? I put in crazy wind, but you get kind of seasons for free. What? I would try following a tutorial as much as you might not want to. If someone on YouTube is working and going step by step, there's no excuse for it to not work on your project. Toby says, I have to go. Have a nice rest of the stream. Have a nice rest of the day, Toby. Paxing Games says, nice, build and season system. Have fun programming that to something, as at least there's something finally moving. Yeah, you're right. I should have followed that tutorial more vehemently. But I think I accidentally discovered how those components for winds are getting added in. I will test that theory in a second. My theory is that you add the global actor called BP Global Foliage Actor, which is located somewhere. Yes. And I guess this actor is adding component and updating some wind parameters to things that, and it's having it's imitating the season strength. Oh my god, some temporary stuff. It is work in progress, but holy shit. Wow. Wow, okay. And I guess you need to have that to yeah, and every tick it runs and tries to find new actors, right? Am I correct in that? To add this thing in? Yeah, because I was wondering why after spawning my procedural content generation volume, after some time, those components were getting added in, right? Now I do know why. And also I discovered accidentally that the parameter here of health doesn't seem to do anything, really. And you can make them fall. Alright. Alright. And you can have a bacon seasons. I wonder how it will affect my weird blue bush. Let's try that assumption on the new level. New level. Open world, yeah, sure. Or wait. Maybe there's also another assumption. It might not work on the open world with the world partition system. So first of all, let's grab the global foliage actor here. Right? Great. Now let's grab the PCG, my asset with the wind PCG. Right? Let's grab that. Let's drop it. Let's spawn my trees. Let's then get to my content, select my tree, select that this is what is supposed to be spawned. Yes. And great, let's grab our tree and did it add the component? Yes, it added the component. I was right. I was right. So in order for the wind to work with this new vegetation method, you need to add BP global foliage actor underscore UE5 into the editor. It automatically searches for the new spawned wind examples, right, with PCG, and for the instance skeletal mesh, skinned mesh component, and adds this component, which means right now I can add wind to it and start fucking with it, right? Let's do exactly that. Blah 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 blah. Wind transform provider. And nothing. And I was thinking that it might work, and it didn't. Do I need to like regenerate, clean up, generate? No, because it deletes the component. I need to wait a second, It will add the component. It added the component. And once again, let's add this wind transform provider. And nothing happens. Dev with me. I was going to send a vid of my game, but I need to get Nitro. Oh, I also don't have Nitro. Be right back. Not a problem. Not a problem. Okay, no. Let's not click on Mesh Deformer because I don't have that. Okay. Okay, I don't know nothing about that. And do I need to... Ah, yeah, wind speed. I need to... Yes, wind is working. Wind is working. Woo, woo, woo. No wonder there was no wind if wind speed was 0, but now it is working. Those trees are actually, they are not behaving that bad. I wonder if it will work on just a placed tree. I do wonder. Or do I always have to use the... Yeah, I guess I always have to spawn it via PCG, which kind of sort of makes sense. Let me get into this PCG. This is like run global function, etc. But how does it find its actors? Set scalar, because it sets scalar parameters in some material parameter collection. That's great. Dynamic wind subsystem that gets... It's probably that dynamic wind subsystem that adds actually this stuff. Okay, what is the name of it actually? Let's look through code, because why not? Dynamic wind subsystem. Here we go. A new plugin, right? Experimental. Yes, dynamic wind subsystem. There's dynamic wind enable. Only one command. Let's look through API. Should create subsystem. Nothing out of ordinary, but I wonder where the finding of the actors is. Post initialize, pre-initialize, register sync proxy, unregister. That's what I do on those streams. Like sometimes I'm just get into the C++ code and I'm trying to find, you know, what's going on. Because it is kinda mysterious how after adding this actor, PCGs automatically gets added instant skinned mesh component, and there you can actually add transform provider. I don't get it. Is there actually a relation like that, or was I just blind and didn't wait for a second to have the wind going on? But okay, whatever. Let's see how seasons work with that. As I suspected, that might not work with that because I changed material, etc. So of course that was expected, that you have to prepare material for that, right? So it wouldn't automatically work with that. And also on the logical side of things, how would you... This is a blue tree. What is the color it turns into when the fall comes, right? When the autumn comes. I don't know, that's a creative decision. Maybe instead of blue it turns shining silver. Who the fuck knows? This is some weird ass tree, but it's nice. Now I got a wind working. And I spent this whole time with the vegetation editor and I wanted to like also look at the audio insights. And I didn't ask AI assistant that many things. But on the future streams I for sure will be still exploring it, because this AI assistant is also accessible via browser. You can just type in Unreal Engine AI assistant and you click that link and you can ask it like, What do I want to ask it? How do I add animations to my FPP skeletal mesh, for example? And let's see what kind of answer it will pop up. Fakes in Game says, there's probably a place where there's values that dictate the color season changes and color changes. 100% sure. You're right. Fact, if I know, but that sounds like there's logic somewhere driving it all. Ask where this. I'm sure it would ban me. But it actually gives you a nice overview. Like, okay, let me verify if it is correct. Like, in content browser, select your FPP mesh FBX file. Open your blueprint, skeletal mesh, adjust transform. Oh, that might be true. Import animations, right? Import all. Actually, that's a good answer. That's a nice, good overview answer. Bakes Game says, nah, it will say no you. But I got a different question to it. Which engine is the best? Unreal, or Unity, or Godot, or Cocos 2D, or Let's Drop and Cry engine, or Quake engine. Let's see what he will ask, you know. That's a subjective question. Yes, that is a subjective question, but I want to see, you know, what kind of answer it will provide. Whether they trained it to be, you know, more like, no, Unreal is the best, right? Or did I just brick the whole farm of computers? Here's a balanced comparison to help. Unreal Engine pros, cons. Hey! It didn't lie about Unreal. Okay. Graphics and rendering quality generally behind Unreal's latest tech. Godot. It's not lying that much. Although that is like a slight diss. Focus to the open source engine, focus on to the yeah. Actually, it provided a great answer. I was expecting something else. But then again, as up top 2, then maybe Godot is 3rd. He is biased. Propaganda AI. Godot has no future? Oh damn, and I thought that actually Godot was picking up steam. Did something happen that I don't know about with Godot, or something? Okay, but I'm happy that we got the wind working. I figured out the how to make it work. You need to place this global wind actor, which probably they said when I was attending Stockholm. I wasn't at that lecture. I got an excuse. I wasn't at that particular lecture. Vaccine Games answers to Unreal Engine RTS. It's a shame people are trying to make it work, but then again, it does have a place, but will be very behind the other engines. I wonder. Slay the Spire is being made with Unreal Engine. Not Unreal Engine, with Godot. I feel like a couple of other indies jumped ship to Godot. It all depends who will drop money on Godot Foundation, right? Kinda like with Blender. If some serious big ass studios will get behind it, it might become a contender. We'll see. But yes, out of those 3 big engines, Godot probably is placed 3rd. Okay. Damn, actually at the end of my today's stream time. Let me just maybe like quickly, I don't know, like I don't know, like I want to quickly try audio insights, but I'm not sure, is it like a plugin? Audio insights. Yes, it is a plugin. Okay, let me quickly restart the editor. We figured the other thing down. Yeah, save everything. I don't give a fuck. What is that? No, that map you don't save. Save everything, I don't care. Restart. I will try to quickly take a peek into Unreal Insights because I really wanted to see if it works. And let me maybe also try asking the... Where was the... There it was. How to use audio insights. Maybe it will provide some because last time I tried to use audio insights for profiling of the audio, there was like no documentation and I didn't know how to really make it work. Not really. There's like some... Ah, yes. This is the audio tech artist from Epic Games that shows our audio Unreal Insights. Let's take a look at this. He already have it hooked up. Okay. Enable the plugin, open audio, close audio insights, blah 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 blah. Okay, okay, let's try that quickly. Does this example have any audio? Of course not. Of course not. Okay. Let's quickly like drop in some audio file. All filters, audio. We have no audio. Great. So it looks like I won't be able to test it properly right now. But at least let's maybe got them profile audit. How do you even turn that on? Debug. Audio insights. No. Blind. Here's audio insights. Oh, it actually looks like it finally works. Of course, we don't have any sound, but this thing wasn't moving last time. I'm into this, and so like if I quickly create like a meta sound and just play sine wave. Functions and generators. Let's noise maybe. Let's plug in noise quickly. And it's not a one shot. Those audio insights are working. It's picking up. It's actually picking up. Holy shit. It finally works. It wasn't working for me last time, but it's finally working. It doesn't really show those things. Ah, yeah, it does show. And is there like a... Okay, like some plotting doesn't work really, but these things weren't animating last time I looked at it, so at least that's something. Let me turn off that awful noise. Okay, yeah. So I guess we mostly were looking at the new nanite foliage and the Unreal vegetation. I wanted to produce like a fucked up looking tree or bush And I managed to do so, I think. Which means that yes, there are limitations, but you know, but you can work around it, and they will be adding more stuff to it. I'm looking forward to the future, and I think I have to end the stream today. For today, I will be streaming next Sunday around the same time. So you know, make sure to look at Discord, and I'm always updating like YouTube. Also my YouTube with like, oh my god, stream schedule, etc. Like what new stream is about to pop up on the next Sunday. And next Sunday I will be actually getting back to my game. Being a dumb game designer. I will be bad at it, but I will be having fun. I will be prototyping a lot with blueprints. And yeah, I hope to see you guys on the next stream. It was fun having you here, Paxton Games. It was a blast. Thanks for the raid. It was really awesome. It was my first raid ever. What? God damn. God damn, a lot of firsts on this stream. So thanks, Dev Guy. And I will be sure to catch your stream, Dev Guy. So yeah, without further ado, you know, have a nice rest of the Sunday and have a great week, guys. So yeah, see you next time on the stream on Sunday, same time. Bye bye, guys. Have a nice week and a nice day.